Hello, welcome back, Paladins fans, to the PPL broadcast here on this lovely Thursday. My name is Pretty Hair. I will be hosting this desk now, but before we get into it, you got to talk about that Steel Forge Battle Pass, guys. Those skins are looking very, very clean, especially Imani's. I think I like hers best, but I might be a little bit partial. I am not alone, however, on this desk. I've been watching Return of the King, the extended edition, the entirety of the day. That one goes out to Blake, a very special member of production team. I definitely want to give him credit for that, where credit is due. That was almost a 4-hour set.
I didn't realize.
I'm sure they were watching Return of the King in the back there.
I didn't realize
until
I just looked at my watch now, and I was like,
I'm
going home at 9 p.m.
4:42 at the moment. We started the day at 1 p.m. That was a wild set. What was your favorite part about that one?
That last map was crazy. Also, the fact that it was the first 8-game set in all of Paladins.
An 8-game set. The 8th game was on Bazaar. So much fun to watch because I think, with the newest map, strategies are still new and relatively fresh there. So everybody's just kind of playing the game at that point. There's not too much drawn up. Ninjas in Pajamas stay in the lead 11-1. 7-3 is Navi. Envy, SSG, VP, Kanga Knights, and the Renegades. So on and so forth. But Navi versus Kanga, that is our next matchup. This is one that I am very excited for. But as you can see there, in between Lazy and Spunky, a special guest. One that I'm sure they're happy to have, but less than ideal at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Better to have him there, but it is Mike, right? Is that what we're...
Young Mike.
Young Mike. He is there filling in
Mr. Michael.
For Mutu, I believe.
Yes,
Mutu
that is correct.
Having some travel issues. Hopefully he should be here soon, but for now, we have Michael, but we also have Lazy.
We do. The weight of the front line rests on his shoulders. You were a guy, you played in the PML for a week as point tank. What does Lazy do so well on this role?
He knows when he can get off point and pressure. He also plays his cooldowns really, really well. He's just really hard to kill. He's one of the hardest point tanks, I think, to kill in terms of juggling his cooldowns, rotations, and hitting all his shots while drawing crazy geometric shapes on his mouse somehow.
I know, right? He does this weird little triangle pattern.
We can watch it right now. It's just between every shot, you ever play Trauma Center? He's like drawing the pentagram to slow down time between every single shot. Maybe that's why he's so good.
Long-standing veteran of the league for sure. One of the better point tanks. Part of one of the better teams in the league, but he doesn't do it alone. Of course, every point tank needs an off tank, someone to sometimes shoulder that burden, and it's a role that is very, very difficult, I might add, because it's so important to get that pressure, arguably because of, I would say, most of the bans this season have been really, really prioritized on the off tanks.
Yeah, the off tanks have to be very flexible this season, considering, through a ban phase, you might be getting rid of Khan, Atlas, Torvald, Makoa, sometimes Ash.
Yeah.
You have to be able to play the whole gambit, and Phoenix is somebody who absolutely can. I mean, he picked up Atlas pretty quick.
That is one thing I think frontliners don't get enough respect about or isn't talked about enough is how they just have to know how to play the entirety of the frontline lineup because you never really know what you're going to be asked to do on a given day.
Not only that, you have to do it into bad matchups too.
Yeah.
If they ban you out and you're like, well, we need a second tank here, and I really don't feel like playing Ruckus into Cassie, Bomb King, Furia, but... you got to do what you got to do.
Way of the road, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to push through those matchups that are difficult is another thing that these frontlines have to know how to do.
Phoenix is one of the best at doing that. A lot of versatility here. When 3 DPS was the meta, he was the guy to step up and play that third DPS. Phoenix, a big, almost face of this Navi squad, does a lot of their interviews, a lot of the outspoken stuff. I think a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, almost like a team dad, if you want to peg him like that. They have that manager, of course, playing with them today, so I think he is going to be under a lot of stress just figuring out how to get this team to operate with him.
Yeah, and I'm sure Phoenix, of all players in the scene, could keep that calm head, keep things lighthearted, and, no matter what happens, hopefully he can keep everybody together, even through the circumstances.
Definitely. I mean, this is not an easy thing for them to do. For those of you that might just be joining us, Mutu has not been able to make it today. From what I'm told, I think he's going to be here tomorrow.
Yes.
But Mike is filling in for him today. Mike is this Navi manager in terms of what to expect from this guy. He's very, very kind of inexperienced in Paladins, but that's just what they're dealing with today. This is a squad, though. It's kind of interesting, right? Because they are still that number 2 seeded team versus Kanga, who is the 6 seeded team. So there is, I don't know, are they meeting somewhere in the middle here, or is this just going to be a hard uphill 4v5 for Navi?
I asked Lazy what role Mike was playing before, because we weren't sure. We were thinking, new player, maybe.
It's got to be support.
Yeah. Spunky's in the middle seat.
Okay.
He's sitting in the flex seat.
Okay.
Who knows? Mike's about to blow our minds.
let's throw it on down to them and get their thoughts. A very unique matchup coming from Navi.
Welcome back, boys. It's F. Dot here next to Phoenix, not in the regular suit, but certainly bringing the regular business. So you guys are going up against Kanga Esports today. What's the thought on how well they've been performing lately?
Kanga has been improving ever since they joined the PPL, and when they moved together, you could clearly see the practice paying off for them. So they've been an ever-improving team, and they're looking strong. We are a bit crippled over here, but that's not going to stop us. That's
true. You guys, Mutu's not here. You have a stand-in. What can you tell us about your sub?
Our sub is going to pop off. He when he got here was level 17. He's 20 now. He's been grinding. I think he's going to do great.
Realistically, real quick, what position is he playing?
You will probably see him like flexing around until we find what fits him.
Sounds good. That said, around your substitute, obviously, I mean, you and Lazy, there's a lot of talent on this roster, you know, independent of the substitute situation. Realistically, can you guys find a win?
Realistically, I think with the talent that we have in our team and the synergy between the players that we have, yes, I think we can find a win.
I like that thought process. Phoenix, good luck, and we'll see how you do. Back to you guys on the desk.
Well, he can't help but smile, even in the face of adversity. Phoenix, I think, one of the best in the league, and probably dealing with a situation like this. Navi have the confidence. They've had to deal with this before, but I would say not to this intensity.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, well, previously their replacement was, you know, a top PML player who showed that he can compete, you know.
Who got to play in his role.
Yeah, in his role performed at like high PPL level. You know, he showed that. Now we got Mike.
The toughest
I
part
believe in Mike.
About that is, so does Phoenix apparently.
Yeah, Phoenix.
The toughest part about that interview is we're going to start him off with a couple things and we're going to move him around until we see what fits.
There's 3 roles. They can lose 4 games, right? So we could be like, Mike, play damage game 1, play tank game 2, play support game 3. Game 4,
that's no way Mike's playing damage.
There's
no way. I'm sorry, but if I'm in the situation that Navi's in right now, Spunky has been a good DPS player in the past. I am 300% parking Mike on support and just crossing my fingers and hoping the boys carry.
We'll have to see.
It's going to be an interesting one, guys. On the other side, full strength, getting better every week from Down Under. At least 3/5 of the team from Down Under. Kanga Esports is a squad sitting 6th place right now, but a concrete 6th. And they're not in danger of falling out of MSI qualifications. They're above that threshold. And that's probably a little bit of a weight lifted off their shoulders, one that could improve their play today, and they might find themselves in an even higher seed. Realistically, only probably 5th seed, if not 6th seed, but an improvement nonetheless.
Yeah, performing at no pressure. I mean, teams will always play better under less pressure. Like our team, previous week, you know, we had just gotten back from our time back home, and we were, you know, at that point, like some pressure had been lifted. We're not worrying about like when we'll be able to go back home. Like we did it, you know. It was a little bit less pressure, and I think that led to our performance. Which now Kanga, they're sure they're in MSI. They're probably not as concerned anymore now. They can focus on self-improvement and moving into that big tournament. And the tanks for Kanga, I think, have improved significantly since the season started. Joel's being a big part of that.
Really? Can you go a little bit deeper as to what exactly you liked and what you thought improved about these two teams? I definitely agree with you with Joel's.
Yeah.
I definitely want to set that precedent. I thought, you know, it's a tough role for him to fill, especially.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think his positioning, his rotations have been a lot stronger over time. His flexibility hasn't been shown as much, but he's been able to play some of these off tanks in roles, and some people have faltered when put on it. You know, some people who are used to main tanks can't really push as hard. Another player that I think has been phenomenal on Kanga, at least recently, especially, is Easy Volley. I mean, he has been a monster on his picks.
He's been a hot or cold for me throughout his career. And one of the most interesting things I think I learned about Evil Eye back from his time on G2 was that he pretty routinely had to retry out for his spot, right? And there was times at G2, especially when they were as hot as they were in North America, undefeated most of the time, that you're just like, how the hell could you ever ask a guy like Evil Eye, who was such a big part of those wins, to retry out? But I think at the end of the day, it really contributed to, you know, keeping him humble, right? Keeping him hungry. And that stuff is important for the big, flashy DPS player, am I right?
Yeah, and the thing is, he always got back on, right?
Yep.
He may have had to try out constantly every single time, but he was still there till the very end. You know, he always proved his worth. And he's been, I think, proving his worth on Kanga as well.
And who's still DPSing in the league? Evil Eye.
Exactly.
You know, shout outs to Bodies. I'm sure he's on to, you know, bigger and better things. He was a great player in his day as well. But we're going to go ahead and throw this one down to the Kanga booth and Andrew Hades.
What up, Demons? It's your boy F. Joined here by Coach Hades. We're rocking out with the Kanga squad. You guys here, an interesting past couple of sets. What can you say about how well your team has been performing lately?
Yeah, really good. I mean, the more we practice, the better we get. So you see that in the results.
Coming down here towards the end of the phase, right? Phase 1 into the midseason invitational. What are your thoughts? Are you guys eager to kind of just wrap it up and get break, or do you guys want to continue to grind it out?
Yeah, definitely continuing to grind it out because it's not that far away and we've officially qualified now. So just keep practicing, getting better and better so we can pull out those good results at the event.
We've seen a lot of what Kanga has really brought to the table up against Na'Vi today. They've got a substitute. Are we going to see any new strategies, anything up the sleeves that we might not expect?
Yeah, this week's been really interesting. As you saw last set, like people just letting the OP tanks through, like Torvald, a lot, things like that. And yeah, all the teams are just trying random stuff right now, and you never know what they're going to pull out. And we've got some of those in store planned that we practice, so we'll see what happens.
Any grok?
We actually practiced the grok strat. It didn't work, so we'll see if we pick it in this match or not.
Any damage grok?
Yeah, he's all right. He's pretty popular. We're talking about a secret healing grok strat.
So you're going to play damage grok?
Sure.
Kanga's going to play damage grok. Thank you, guys. Back to you on the desk.
Oh, man. F. gets what F. wants, and it's damage grok, damn it. I mean, I love that character. I love that build. Very, very fun. Has its merits, though, Krezzik.
Yeah.
No trolling aside.
Cleaving group, sustain. It does a lot.
Yeah, I mean, very, very cool build. Very, very fun character. And with what we've seen today, we've already seen Grover. We've already seen the viability of his off supports. It just feels like it's up to the players at this point. Almost anything can work. Yeah. Tenor likes his off supports. You guys like your Tyra. You like your Vivian. There's so much to play with in this league.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the beauties of the game in general, right? Like, almost everything can be played. I mean, even the thing you used to say before was, like, everything can be played but Moji. And then Na'Vi won a game with Moji, and no one's dared to ruin her win rate ever since.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect clean, 100% there. Evil Eye playing the Blasters. EV is a conversation to be had. Kind of across the league at this point, there's been a couple of players so impactful. You were fortunate to coach for one of those players, FR Z-God. In this matchup in particular, do you expect it to be as hotly contested as it was in our first set of the day?
I think it could be close. I mean, Evil Eye is a very strong EV. Creatives is a very strong EV. I'm sure Mike has an EV hidden somewhere that we might see tonight.
But for me, it doesn't feel like it's either of them. It's their first choice. Do you agree? I feel like I would put them both on Bomb King in a life or death match.
But Bomb King is a less flexible character, I think, on a lot of maps than Eevee. So we're going to see, like, you're like Bomb King, Eevee for a lot of them. Maybe creatives might go like Bomb King, Sha, Eevee. But I think you're going to see a lot of maybe some Eevee bans even, just to keep things flexible. Like maybe, I don't think they can play Maeve right now. So you can force them down into a less optimal draft.
What
stuff like
seat?
That.
What seat was Mike in again?
He was in the Flex 1.
That was the Flex seat?
1.
Okay.
Because if it wasn't Flex 1, it was damage.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
So what do we realistically expect this guy? If he is not playing support, which I've got my money hands down on, and this may be just that conversation with Phoenix, it felt, if anything, more of just misdirection, right? Not to give away what they're trying to do.
But Kanga can't hear them.
Yeah.
Unless one of them is like holding the door open, crouched in the booth. None of them can hear that interview. So
Hades is damn sneaky. Sly, charismatic. I'm sure he could slip his way into an enemy booth.
You're not wrong. You probably could. Hades could have done the interview. Phoenix might not have noticed.
Phoenix is Hades is a doppelganger. Assume the form of F.
Takes off F. glasses.
For the purpose of the interview. Those sly Australians.
That Long Island accent was pretty good, honestly, coming from an Australian.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get on any given day. Kanga, though, seemed to be in light spirits. And we talked about pressure. Kanga completely locked in for MSI. However, 6th seed, 5th seed, stuff like that is still up in the air. Things can still change. It's going to come down to the wire on a lot of those fronts. But I have to say, for Na'Vi as well, it almost feels like they're not necessarily under a ton of pressure either. Because, at the end of the day, if they lose, whoop-de-doo, they had Mike, they had the manager, they have the perfect scapegoat. And that could end up being a boon for them. Kanga might underestimate them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked for Na'Vi to get a map off of some like crazy draft. And I mean, Kanga looks like they picked Shattered Desert to start. That could be a map that does it. I mean, it's kind of chaotic. Put Mike on Genos if you want him to be on that. Tell him to run away. give us damage. Maybe we can make something work. Tell him where to ult. Stuff like that. We'll have to see. And we'll see where this draft goes. Torvald ban. Pretty standard.
We've seen, and another thing that maybe leads me to my beliefs on Mike, we can believe in Mike today for sure. Hashtag
I believe in Mike. Hashtag believe in Mike.
That's it in the chat, boys. Let him have it. Let him have it. Give him your support. Mike needs your energy here as we are in the draft for game number 1. Torvald gone. Makoa gone. Big surprise. Evie also taking a seat. We had a small conversation about the preferences for this character, for Evil Eye, and for creatives. Are you surprised to see this one banned early on?
I'm not too surprised because Mutu plays Maeve when they need a Maeve, right?
Correct.
So
yeah.
Mike will probably not be on Maeve, so maybe they think that they're kind of downgrading the flank potential unless they're going to pull out like a Buck or something crazy.
Agreed.
That makes sense for a ban if they're really hungry for the W here.
I mean, you've only seen this situation once where I'm going to call it back to DreamHack Valencia. The Southeast Asia representatives did not have their 5th either. A girlfriend had to step in and play for them. They parked her on Saris. It was what it was. She got some healing out at the end of the day, and that's what I don't think that type of player is going to be able to bring in any other scenario. Here's the Barrack Genos. It's the perfect character for Mike. Na'Vi are still trying to win this set, despite the handicap, despite what the haters are saying. We are hashtag believing in Mike.
This is actually the 2nd time, too. This is not just the 2nd time. This is the 3rd time that player managers had to come in.
Oh, yeah.
Pampa team. I believe.
Now we're bringing it back.
Yeah, the cameraman for Pampa team had to play, and he was a level 5 account that only played Nando, and then Splice banned for Nando.
Yikes.
Big. That was definitely
see it.
a yikes. Let's see. Oh, Tyra coming in for Kanga. Really strong on this map, I think. Just her ability to mark, kind of supplementing that damage boost when you don't
Choose
have
your words carefully, heathen.
And
for they are your last.
Best point tank left. And now that Genos is gone, they're going to have a strong sustain.
I will fight to protect the
in a
sanctity
perfect
of the wild.
world, she's providing not only more damage amp than Genos, right, with the 25%, but can give it to everyone on that team if they combine fire and team shot and do what they have to do.
And at this level, they're going to do that. They're going to all be shooting the same targets. That's kind of the why Tyra is so high popularity here. And in your pub, when you mark someone, you're like, well, I marked that Genos, and he just walked away.
The biggest thing for me is marked targets getting plugged by Anaras and Ashes. That damage, you really start to feel it, and it's already pretty significant, especially when you look at Anara hitting all of her bursts with no fall off. Back over to Na'Vi, though. They lock in, looks to be both characters, Shaolin and Cassie.
This is interesting. It might be they might be trying to put Evil Eye, on a backline that he's not as comfortable with if they think Kanga will run double backline. Because Evil Eye has played the Sha, has played the Cassie, but has shown more confidence, I think, on them versus some of the other backlines. So this could be them trying to kind of choke that out, or they're just looking for triple DPS, and they wanted to pull that out.
Comfort may not be the issue for Evil Eye if they lock in this Bomb King, Inara, Maldamba. This looks good, man. I mean, look at the point. Damba, Inara. Yeah. I'm cool with that. You have Tyra marking up targets for Ash and Bomb King to follow up on. I mean, this is 2 win conditions that are very, very sound. Those 80% chance to win with what they've got here. Kanga Esports, I think, have locked in exactly what they want.
After a few good lashes, you'll all see it my way.
He brought this up yesterday. He said maybe a binary star Genos. You never really know what I've got up my sleeve. And now I can't have my chips anywhere else.
This is interesting. Furia Genos, I mean, if they do, I think they should still run Luminary. I think they should.
Okay.
Because damage stacking with Inflame and Luminary is going to be really strong, but Furia does a lot of damage. Genos can do a respectable amount of damage too.
I think you bring up a good point. Still running Luminary. If you feel that's still the better talent choice, is it Mike playing Genos and Spunky playing Furia?
I think so.
Given that.
I think so, because Genos is still less specific. Furia has more unique things for Furia.
Okay. Very, very unique start here for Na'Vi. An interesting situation to be sure. Let's get it down to the casters and get this one started.
Appreciate it, fellas. Hopefully set 2 of the day can live up to what set 1 brought us. Evan's back in here in the in the booth with me, caffeinated up, ready to go.
I'm ready. Got my Earl Grey.
That's right. The question of the hour is, does Big Mike on the Na'Vi side? And I mean, if you really, if you have to really break down the addition of Mike, and only time will tell. But at the end of the day, that's a big difference. You're not replacing Mutu with a PML player that could be a PPL player. I mean, at the end of the day, this definitely, I think, changes things around.
This guy's career in Paladins is over after today. And that is a concern. And I think that at the end of the day, Mike knows this is a one-time thing.
He's on the Furia.
And he's on the Furia, so they're sticking him on there easy enough. We'll have to see how this goes off. I mean, I think the guys, you know, who've been around a computer before, and already Creatives gets a kill. And that's a good start for him as well. Heals up Spunky. I mean,
might not matter how well he plays if the rest of the team is going to bring what Natus Vincere bringing right now. Mike just providing some supplemental damage. Creative.
Let's go, Mike!
With a couple. There it is, Mike. First kill in the PPL.
Let's go.
You see the camera wiggle. Mike, he has the kill. Natus Vincere, they're the ones on the point right now. Kanga, against all odds, they're fighting out of their base.
I've changed my mind. Mike is the MVP of Natus Vincere, and I won't have it any other way. Joel steps onto the point, and Mike shuts him down.
Mike has as many kills as the rest of the team. Make it 3 now in this fight. No, that was the second one still. He has as many as Creatives and Spunky.
Mike!
The rest of Natus Vincere popping off. Mike with 3, Creatives with 3, 0 goose eggs for Kanga up to this point. There's the smirk on his side. Nick's relegating him to support, but he's got 3 kills already in this one.
He says, everybody don't worry, I'll handle mines, okay?
That's right.
Phoenix, you're on Cassie, where are your 3 kills? Nowhere, because I'm Mike, and I'm on Fury, and I got 3. Him and Creatives move up to the top 2 here. I mean, Creatives is lucky he wasn't an HRX, because he might have taken his MVP when they won Worlds.
Can't forget can't forget the rest of Na'Vi are some of the best in the league.
Yeah, maybe
so
that matters, Dave.
I think that comes into it. No, Mike is really just popping off that heavily here, but the Creative Shaolin make it a double with the triple to boot, and Mike adds 3, Phoenix adds 4, Natus Vincere, they're rounding the corner with only 2 deaths in their pocket.
And I'm telling you,
what's with the supports? Gara has the only 2 kills for Kanga as well.
It's a dangerous game out there, man. People who you think are your closest friends can be your worst enemies.
Mutu in shambles.
And I love it, man. You know, we don't know whether Mutu is tapped into Mike through the Shadow Realm and is now controlling his play, and he's going to let go of the tension, of the, basically.
I mean, you got to say, when Creatives is playing the way it is, it takes a weight off of the rest of Natus Vincere.
Just
2
a little
on the
bit.
Shaolin right now. Playing the high ground. Rhino's going to call him on his bluff.
They need Mike here.
Shoulder bash his way through, but it's a 4v3, making it double now for Rhino, playing behind that shield perfectly. Chronix answers back, finally getting on the board now onto the Tyra, make it 2 for her. And Kanga Esports, they finally buy a moment of space, and Natus Vincere for once are not on the attack.
Finally, the behemoth that is Mike in his gameplay is just off the shoulders of Kanga Esports to try to carry through this desert. It's like he's an overbearing presence in the battlefield. And so getting him off the table's got to feel good. And now they've started to settle into the rhythm. So we'll see if Kanga can keep this up. Even if you've handled Mike, you got to worry about Creatives. You got to worry about Phoenix. You've been saying it's still some of the most talented players in the entire world, despite missing Mutu.
And there's the Inflame. That's going to open the doors for Natus Vincere. Mike has the 3rd. Creatives has the 4th.
Look at that smile.
Vincere, number 2 on the board for them. There it is. Big Mike. I think he can't believe it. He's starting to pop off in this game. The rest of Na'Vi are opening the door for him. He's walking right on through.
First of all, that was a little bit of a pectoral shot on Mike.
What?
We need to not sexualize him, okay? He is a player. That's it.
What?
I need chest high Mike. I don't need zoom in on that area. The man has a brain. He's got a great smile. It's not, you know, it's not objectify him.
He doesn't have the most damage in this game, but he has the damage that counts. I mean, all jokes aside, he's 5-2 and 6
No, he's actually
right now.
doing great. It's
5-2
hilarious.
and 6 right now. On the Furia, the Chronos helping out a little bit as well. Kanga just have not been able to find their footing. 2 kills for 3 of their members. A goose egg for Evil Eye. He's caught the Mike fever. He's got the sickness. Evil Eye does. He hasn't really been able to be comfortable just yet.
Now, one of the things they're doing, which I think is smart for Na'Vi and they're just intelligent players, they're leaving Mike to kind of do this main heal role, sticking him onto a partner.
Yeah, right.
But they're also having Spunky doing a similar job, contributing more damage, that's for sure. But also opting into allowing Mike a little bit of rhythm. Here's where things get iffy. He's got some pressure on him. Wings of Wrath to get away, and it's Kanga now in control. So we don't know if the Mike dynasty has come to an end. But at least it stops now. Yeah.
It's only just begun. Kanga, though, some well-timed ultimates there. Seismic Crash, assert dominance into the crossfire. That set up Chronix for victory in this fight. So now things have kind of calmed down. Natus Vincere right off the bat with so many kills. Kanga didn't have a chance. They were reeling. They needed to recover. They've done just that, but a fight, a re-engage is happening. So many low health bars right now on the side of Na'Vi. Evil Eye finally finding some damage, but Spunky and Phoenix are able to answer back. Mike with the sneaky flank around, getting the good heals as well in onto Phoenix, who's playing the Cassie in this one. Unfortunately, Jules finds the kill there, and Kanga, they continue their long march forward.
Nothing could have really done on that. I mean, the Pyre Strike was the only way to save him, and Joel's had the Earthen Guard up to use the CC immunity, so no worries. Mike's still min-maxing that one appropriately, and under pressure, as always. I think Kanga have made the big switch, Dave, just making sure that they put the newer player, the one who's not really familiar with this level, under some duress.
That's true. I mean, that's what you got to identify, and that's where you got to go in this case. Spitting image to what we just saw, but the teams are reversed. Lazy's going to use the bowling balls, get just a little bit of extra shielding on his eyes, but he's going down so low right now. He's going to get out with a little bit of shielding, but is he going to stay alive any longer? The healing is good within an inch of his life, but Evil Eye and Chronix, they find the only 2 kills they need. The frontliners are gone. The damage dealers are back in base, and we're knotted up at 2 here.
And Natus Vincere and Mike, although he's got a 1 streak, don't take that away from the man, I think are starting to feel a little bit more human, maybe a little bit more susceptible. It was a crazy start.
Creatives really carried the beginning of that game.
It was a ridiculous start, and I just don't know if Ken could keep this pace up, how they'll be able to do it. Because we haven't really seen them in a contested fight. I want to see a point fight that lasts a few minutes, see how that works. Yeah.
This one was a beautifully timed suite of ultimates from Kanga, just only using 2 or 3 in that case, setting them up very well. So now the streaks are flipped. Creative's still having a very good game up to this point, but you know, Mike building what he needs. Has some Haven, has a couple Chronoses.
Doing decent damage.
I mean, he's doing an okay amount of damage. I'd like to see the healing he's doing as well, just to kind of see where things stand in that regard as this next point fight begins. Kanga, they're going to be the ones putting themselves there to start off, though.
Good firebomb. It's just going to buy some time, and Lace's going to use the bowling ball shield and just continue contesting, but not really burn too much into the health pool. Rhino here on a 3 streak, holding left corner as well, 24%. Where's Mike, though? They have a good job pacing this fight out. Natus Vincere are doing a good job of holding angles, and they find a kill, and so they don't really need anything else.
Especially under Joel's, they don't have anyone to get in there. Here's Creative. He pops the heat haze. He could get aggressive here. That's what he's going to do. Wrap around the backside. He knows where Gara is. He knows where Chronix is. Just needs a couple more shots, but he's going to keep himself alive. The assert dominance down on the point, but here's the inflame. They're going to get aggressive on the side of Natus Vincere, but Spunky instead, he catches a death in his hands. Creative's down as well. No healing. No Shaolin now. Great fear. Evil Eye standing there waiting with the double kill. Rhino shoulder bashes forward. That's going to be Phoenix. That's going to be 2 for Evil Eye. And that's going to be another fight win for Kanga.
And now it feels like Kanga are going to have the ability to zone here. These are tricky situations, and you need your whole team to be a part of it. Spunky's isolated, and on the Genos, just not much that he can do. It feels like they don't want to let Mike solo heal by himself, but they also don't want to, you know, have, I don't know, him do another role, so to speak.
Well, I mean, the problem is where else? Where else, right? I mean, you're not going to put him on damage.
Well, the thing is, but you're kind of trying to get the best of both worlds, but then you're also getting you're not getting any of, you're getting the worst of both worlds as well in that regard, where you really are relying on Creatives to have the round that he had, and if he doesn't have that, you're really lacking as far as some kill potential here and there.
I mean, I will say, for as bad as it could have gone, Mike has certainly held his own in this and not been like a glaring. I mean, you know, it's not going in their favor, but it's not like he's getting absolutely swept off the map. Here's the heat haze from Creatives. He's going to get too aggressive. Evil Eye sticks him with a couple. That's going to be a 4v3 in favor of Kanga. Make it 2. Yeah. Payload continues its roll forward here. Spunky, the last line of defense, he's just going to trade himself out. Kanga maybe rounding for the game 1 win.
And I just feel like this has been a bit coming. It was a great start, probably the best start you could have. And we wish, you know, it's an unfortunate situation when you have to have a substitute in a game that does matter when you're trying to chase first place, when they look susceptible. But yeah, you're going to have to go through the thick and thin. It's 4 games, not just 1. Assert dominance here to try to to try to create space. Ron's going to do it.
He does just that. Lazy having to back off as well as Phoenix controlling 2 members right now, but Phoenix finds the angle anyway. The Dread Serpent comes in, but who does it go on to? Nobody really from Kanga. getting in on that one right now. They have the 1 kill. Evil Eye's the one to do it. Rhino as well. But Natus Vincere, they have the respawn proximity right now. They need to clean up Phoenix here on the side. He's free firing away right now. Evil Eye doesn't find him. It doesn't matter. He's not in a position to contest, and Kanga, they get win number 1.
And there's some smiles and laughter. Feels like there's an elephant in the room, that it's a matchup. There's even creative smiles there. It's a bit of a silly situation.
It is.
It's a bit of a silly situation.
He's got the sideways keyboard, though. Do you see that? You know, when you turn
Mike?
it, Mike does. He has the whole sideways FPS keyboard thing going. Game 1 goes the way of Kanga.
Wow.
Yeah, look, that's what I'm saying.
He's got a nice watch, too.
He's got things going on right now. Na'Vi, they fall in map 1. Mike, could have looked worse, though. Let's send it to the desk and hear what they're thinking.
Mr. Nice Watch, Mr. Sideways Keyboard. I'm told Mike is a Counter-Strike player.
Apparently.
So
I mean,
he's
with
got
a keyboard
some
like
aim.
that, he's got to be.
He's got to be. Do you know like the story of like why that is? Like people do that?
Desk space at LANs?
Yep.
Because like
That's it.
Oh, I thought you were asking me.
I was.
Oh, well, you said that's it.
Oh, you did. You didn't know the
knew.
story.
No, I knew.
But you just put it together in your big brain. You're nuts, kid. You're nuts.
You know who else is nuts?
Mike.
Mike.
Mike is nuts. Let's take a look at the post-game stats, guys. Mr. Mike, 30k damage, 54k healing, 3-0 after the first mid. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't, considering the storyline we gave going into this match, Na'Vi looked a little better than we would have expected, I think. What really fell apart for them on that last mid was they just didn't have enough bulkiness to live through the ultimates. I mean, like, once Cauterize was online, that was all their sustain. It was gone. Then they dove in with Assault.
That's
PKL.
my thing, man. That's my thing. Why does it have to be, you know, Mike and Spunky? I feel like Mike could have been on Genos and doing that, and, you know, who knows what they've been practicing at the end of the day, but that's just what we've seen in the past. Spunky has played DPS. I think Phoenix could still realistically be doing his role. But they did sort of set this up, right? They said, we are going to see what works. We're going to kind of try a couple of different things. This is a best of 7. There's some elbow room to sort of wiggle with, but that, you know, it's tough to say. Was it bad? Was it good? Was it the right path for Mike?
I think it might have been. Fury Genos is a pretty good composition, and I think they were just relying on damage boost, and another character that relies on damage boost is Tyra. Chronix is playing, and she was just doing a lot this game. With all the squishiness, adding damage boost to the mix makes things so much easier, and Chronix was in the right place a lot of the time to take advantage.
A couple of things I want to talk about with Chronix. One, I feel like he has gotten so much better, period, as a player, as a DPS for Kanga. Because he's had to do every role in the book at some point in his career. And B, I feel like after playing Space Station and seeing what they've done with, and you guys have done with Tyra, and even Vivian to an extent, much more so Tyra, that's sort of unlocked another pick for him and for kind of everyone in this league. The hit scan pool has been extremely shallow. Even I would go so far as to say it's really just been Leon for the most part.
Victor in like niche situations.
Yeah, like it's Leon, and then when pre-nerf Leon was pretty much plug and play, and then everybody else was kind of niche. But Tyra seems like she is ready to break out of niche into more of a mainstay.
Yeah, I mean, she's DPS Genos.
Yeah.
Genos is being banned. You know, what's not to love? Tyra saw a bunch of bans in the previous set, and she just brings something that no one else really brings to the table in this terms of, like, this person now takes a bajillion more damage. Now, at this high level with this focus fire, teams didn't want to experiment with it, but now that they have, I mean, it's really shown its strength.
Hunting Party's been pretty good for a while, in my opinion. Do you just feel that there is a certain level of just inelasticity for a team to want to practice and integrate something like that with Tyra, a character who has specifically sort of been looked down on all of her life?
I could see teams not being willing to do it at first. But teams, it was being brought out as like a niche counter at first, like when Na'Vi was playing with Zarini. Another sub moment. They brought it out for Phoenix's comfort to counter random noobs as Drogos. And I think people from there kind of realized the potential it had. It had seen like niche play in Bright Marsh, Warder's Gate, but people were just like, man, it's so good there. Why can't it be good here too?
The sanctity of
it just took that like one niche strat to kind of blow up and move out from there.
Well, Barrick is the first selection here. We talked about how hard it could be to beat an off-tank this season, and you're seeing why right here, right now. 4 off-tank bans, Torvald, Khan, Atlas, and Makoa all taking a seat, which is why I think you're seeing the high prioritization on frontline through the first 3.
Yeah, so if you want a specific draft that requires a certain kind of frontline, that's why you would need to get them so high, you know, considering all the bans. Barrick, they want that point tank specifically probably to pair with the Genos. If they put Mike on it, would be my guess. And Kanga just saying, well, we'll get the best off tank left, we'll get the best point tank left, and then we can be flexible to whatever they pick from there, because who knows what Navi's going to pull out, considering the situation. Considering
Jaguar Falls, considering what's left in the frontline pool, and especially if Kanga don't grab Tyra here, I don't know. Is it easy to kind of bait yourself into a ruckus pick, perhaps, for Phoenix?
Maybe. I think they would go, unless they're looking to go triple DPS again, I think they would still go.
Our blood is rushing.
Nando or turn over it.
Is on.
I think. Just because like the Nando ult can extend a fight and you can get some really good focus fire of it. It's pretty good into what they have because of the Nando ult. But it looks like they might just stick with a similar draft.
Look how hard you're
Similar-ish.
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 Still solo tank Barrick.
Even going so far as to double down or triple down at this point on healing. Furia, Genos, Pip, all sustain options for Na'Vi. We expect them to kind of stay the course here with Mike, perhaps on Furia, perhaps on just hit scan what he feels comfortable with. And Eevee is the final selection here for Kanga. Not the most popular pick on Jaguar Falls, but with such a heavy backline, I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. It's seen some more play recently. Just good rotations, blinking over the walls. There's a lot of safe corners, so she's seen that. Navi's comp looks very snowball-y. They're just looking to snowball with their damage boost and with their heals.
Yeah.
And they're saying if we're going to win, it's going to have to be 4-0 because late game, it's really complex.
Same problem they ran into on Shadow Desert at the end of the day.
But now they're saying, well, we'll just triple down on the support, extra healing, and that's why they're trying to. They think that's the hole they need to plug.
And that could be a way out for Na'Vi. They triple down, they grab the Pip. In addition to the Furia, the Genos, in terms of Mike's situation, I fully expect him to just continue to play what Furia was. In that game number 1, they've got to keep Mike comfortable, and if that's what he's saying he wants to play, that's probably the way they'll stick.
Most likely. I think so.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us here on the desk. We're going to get this one down to the casters and ready for Game 2.
Kanga Esports, they strike first. Mike, though, did he take? I think he might have had a positive KDA by the end of that.
I think he still did. Yeah, I think he still did.
I think the last I saw, he was like 5-2-6, and I imagine he died. So 5-5. But I mean, honestly, I mean, we talked about how we're putting so much emphasis on it, but the fact of the matter is, you go 5-5 in a PPL game. That could have gone so much worse.
It really could have.
It could have gone so much worse, but he steps in.
He's got some decent
teammates.
Steps
up. Kanga Esports up 1-0 here over Natus Vincere. I mean, if you really look at it, this has seeding implications as far as MSI goes. I think they're technically out of the running for first now with that map loss, given how NIP are playing.
Right.
But still, Na'Vi are in the conversation for for some of those top spots here.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make it work with Mike, though. Early on, they're going to do just that. Phoenix back on the Cassie, finds first blood onto Chronix. But fighting now from the point is Jolt on this Inara.
And everyone's going to have to make adjustments, Dave.
Yeah.
Just for Mike. They may have to play different. You see Lazy does a very familiar pattern, rotates onto point. He may have to be a little more aggressive to pick up some of the slack that Mike might just be having inherently, not knowing exactly when and how to push as effectively.
It's not a bad idea, honestly. Triple down on the healing even. I mean, you need Mike to be there, do a little damage, do a little healing. Allow creatives, allow Lazy to play aggressive, a little more aggressive than normal with a little healing at their back. Evil Eye, though, he's found the kills this game. Phoenix wraps around the backside, gets the good shots in. Creatives back to base thanks to some shots from Rhino, though. 1-for-1 trade, but back on the point now are Kanga. What are your thoughts on Phoenix being on this Cassie, playing this role yet again?
Honestly, man, it's a great pickup for him to be able to snowball fights, but it's just so hard. And this situation has gotten really, really tough because, and it's a testament to the difficulty it takes to play Paladins well. I can't think of any role that's easy for someone who doesn't know the game to come in and do at this level. It's just so difficult. There's so many differences in the abilities even, and the characters. And then you just have the situations and win and push and pull. I think that Phoenix has done well on this Cassie, but again, there is just this element that Na'Vi are almost fighting from behind because they're trying to make up for something that will never be made up for. Mike can't actually heal the way Spunky can.
Right. No, that's just the bottom line of it all. I mean, you can mechanically play well, but at the end of the day, the game sense, the decision-making, those split-second decisions, those are things that just can't be made up for.
And Lazy keeps, you know, he has muscle memory of knowing this heal's coming because Spunky's so good at it. It's ever not there. Spunky's one of the best who's ever done it. He's gotten used to a standard that you can't ever replace. I don't care if you put 2, 3, 4 healers who are off healers, you're not going to get that same level of attention as if Spunky was on down before you. So everyone has to adjust, and it's going to be more about whether the 4 world champions on Na'Vi can make adjustments, really, versus Mike.
Well, they're making some adjustments right now. That's a good Evil Mojo. But kill's getting answered back. Evil Eye on the Eevee blinks in, finds Lazy and Creatives. 2 perfect targets, make it a triple onto Mike to wrap that one out. Kanga Esports up 2-0. It looked like a convincing Na'Vi on Shattered Desert last time around, but then winning 4 straight points, now 6 straight points. Are the side of Kanga. I mean, at the end of the day, they're fighting for seeding in MSI as well. So Kanga need to, you know, take these games as seriously as possible, and they're doing just that. And if they win here, they're putting themselves in a better position to, you know, maybe move up in the seedings a little bit.
They have to take this as a win that must now be secured for them. There's no way Kanga can feel good losing to this team, you know, without Mutu and with Mike, you know, and not with Serini, right? I mean, if Serini's in here, it's a different story, but you know, it's just you don't have someone who has that extensive years of Paladins experience. Tries to get one. It's not a bad attempt from Spunky. It's just a little late, actually, and a little off. So
probably just looking to tilt the scales early on with the pick.
What can we do?
That would have helped Natus Vincere. They are fighting from the point this time around with Fast Cap on their side. Phoenix needs to come up big. The Ice Storm, though, that's going to be a boon. He has to drop the Dome Shield as a result. That's a good healing beam in there from Mike. Finds a little bit of a stun. The crossfire from Chronic starts firing away, though. He goes so low, he calls him on his bluff. Phoenix does. Tumbles in, gets the kill. That's 2 now for Natus Vincere. The Assert Dominance could flip things right on around, but no kills coming out just as of yet. Phoenix has to tumble out. Rhino is trying to get aggressive, clean up the Cassie, but instead it's Lazy who has the next kill.
Wow. Great stuff from both players. Mike ends up picking up the kill on the Rhino, though. That's big, man. Mike rotating. Good heals. You know, good just little bubbles. You know, I mean, that's all Mike's got to focus on here. Holding down the point now. It's going to be a little difficult.
Oh, no.
Shooting at the ice block, but a big stun by Mike! Inflame, do it, save your life. Oh no, secure the point. They're gonna back off, they're not calling for it yet. And now it is.
Oh my, the Inflame comes out. Creatives can get aggressive here. Mike follows up the stun with a good ultimate, but the damage isn't coming out just as of yet for Natus Vincere. Kanga are able to weather that storm. Here's the Evil Mojo, gets one onto Rhino. Likely that'll be a kill, so it's a 4v5 now in favor of Natus Vincere. Bouncing around, that's a double now for the Baron. Creatives has to dip around the corner. He has 49 health, but he stays alive. Chronix is able to answer back, finally shutting down Lazy. But Natus Vincere, they win the point, and they answer back, Evan.
Wow. Well, great stuff. Obviously, comeback mechanic involved and giving that a little easier.
Involved.
But it doesn't mean that Mike didn't make a great play
there. That was a wild play from Mike.
Wild, good play, man, and saves the Pyre Strike for the right time. You know, the thing is, it's hard in the same vein for Kanga to expect anything big out of Mike. You know, they're, if anything, expecting him to not play very, you know, but you can't do that. And they maybe get caught slipping thinking, oh, he won't hit this or he won't make this play. I can just kind of dive. I don't have to be super min-max. And he makes pay, you know?
He does, I mean,
gotta get full respect to him.
I mean, you have Fast Cap, but what matters is you have a point on the board now, and if they can continue some of this momentum, you know, Kanga have to be careful here. This is a very interesting choke. Natus Vincere keeping aggressive. Good Void Grip. Does not allow Evil Eye to continue his blink on through there. Has to get back out. The Wormhole in this case. There's the Dread Serpent. Gets one onto Creatives. That's an important pick now for Kanga. It's a 4v5 returning back on the defensive end here, and it looks like Natus Vincere just going to back off. Phoenix trying to do some damage on his way out. Actually does end up getting Rhino. He might have shoulder bashed his way off the map there. Chronix and Joel, they're going to clean up this fight. That's a convincing defensive stand there from Kanga on their side. They use the Dread Serpent. Nothing really burned though on the Natus Vincere side. So Kanga Esports, they plant their flag and they hold off at least for another minute.
And that's important here because You have a team that clearly knows they need to win this game. They maybe make a mistake, maybe overvalue or undervalue something, but then they get right back where they need to be. It would be a shame to see Kanga, you know, kind of go down with a good start, being 1-0 up and being 2-0 up here. But Creatives, man, he might be playing just as good as maybe 1, 2, and 3 players if he gets these evil mojos as succinctly as he has been.
That's what you really have to look at. How can these Natus Vincere players start to fill the gap and play above and beyond, which we've seen them do before. So it's who's going to step up into that moment. This time it's Mike, though. He starts off this fight. Kanga Esports, they're down a member. Their health bars are low as well. Phoenix rolls in, gets one onto Evil Eye. They're all grouped up. There's only 2 left defending. Make it 1. This payload's moving around. The stagger could come out from Natus Vincere. This could be tied up at 2, and I think it's going to be.
I think it will, too. 4 seconds left. Fire strike just to say, no. But Wings of Wrath here. In a bold decision, Mike. I like it.
The answer's back. That's smart. All the ultimates start to fly even. The dome shield comes out. The seismic crash comes through. Just enough damage. That seals it up. Mike with the big...
Look at Mike, dude.
Honest to God, he opened that fight with a kill onto Rhino.
I mean,
that's the big smile I'm looking for.
I think that's what he said. I think he said he misclicked.
But look, call it what you will. They won the point. The ultimate started flying from Kanga as well. The Inflame, at the end of the day, helped them win that point.
It was Mike's fault.
Here it is. Here it is.
Oh, no. Mike, this is a great play from Mike.
I don't want to take anything away from it.
What?
But there was a void grip from Spunky onto the Eevee. The fire strike rolled right through.
Gotcha. Well, you know what? Listen. Mike, 50,000 healing. That ain't bad at all. In 9 minutes. It's good stuff. And really,
the man's got a 5 streak.
Man, you know, that Inflame was aggressive. It was probably what we wouldn't have seen with a usually conservative Natus Vincere.
But look, they got the point, I think.
They got the point, man. And they, like, you know, maybe Mike's what they need to kind of kick it into gear sometimes. Bring a few laughs. And it's really about creatives, too, if we can kind of see him, because he's been really driving so much of this. He gets Dread Serpent kind of feared, and he goes down.
Spunky comes down into the back line. Joel's with 1. Chronix with 1 as well. This is a losing fight now for Natus Vincere. As soon as it started, it's over. Chronix is able to answer back. Phoenix is alive, but it's down now as well. So Kanga end up with a very fast and convincing team fight here. After, you know, losing a point and losing a push, it's how Kanga answer back. They're up to the task this time around with 63% on the point. Evil Eye doing his best to blink in, blink out, find a little bit of damage. Natus Vincere, there's plenty of time for the answer back. Here's the crossfire from Chronix.
87% now for Kanga Esports. They're just real close to closing it out. And I think they're going to at least take the lead here. Mike's probably going to Wings of Wrath forward. Good tech there, but not quite good enough. Smunky will back off knowing it's a lost cause. Kanga now can run this one down main, as Kresnik has been saying, and I like
that.
Yeah.
I picked up mid-fight from Kresnik as well, too.
Oh, yeah?
I like, you know, I always call it the point fight, so having some diversity on what to call that, I really do enjoy it. So this mid-fight goes the way of Kanga.
Yeah, nice. And as they run it down main, it's because everything, you know, is so tactical with Kresnik. He's got great names for everything.
Yes. This could be a high-value Evil Mojo as well. Beautiful Evil Mojos in our set earlier coming out from Bittner. Showing just really why Pip is so good on a map like this. That's a good predictive shot. I don't think he meant to do it onto Evil Eye. He's getting low, though. Needs a little bit of that extra healing that they have on their side. He has the self-healing as well. Oh, he end up getting caught here. Oh, he does not end up getting the kill. Runs right into a shot from Rhino. The Evil Mojo turns one into a chicken, but does not result in any kills. Rhino and Garrett each have one. The dome shield comes out. It's a bit of an answer here, but he's not fighting inside of it right now. There's a crossfire. Garrett has to stay alive, but the Inflame comes through from Mike right into the Dread Serpent. All the ultimates are flying. Kanga slams down the banner, and everything is starting to level out here just a moment. It's a 1-for-1.
And this is good. This is real good, I think, if you're Kanga, because you've got reinforcements coming. However, Creatives finds a crucial kill. What can Evil Eye do? That's really the key here. He is the reinforcements that have arrived. Not enough. Let's put it that way.
Still a minute left.
Back and forth. It did feel like game over at that moment, but yeah, a minute left. Great awareness by Lazy to use the dome shield there. He got tousled more times than any dwarf should in a single point fight or mid fight or back fight or round fight. I don't know. A fight.
It was an end fight.
End fight.
I don't know.
That's not bad. Yeah,
payload
end fight.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're fighting on the payload, but it's in mid, it's not so much an end fight at that point. But in this case, it just might be. kills are able to come through. Lazy playing that front line. I mean, dashes into the healing a little bit there. There's the Ice Storm, though. Evil Eye takes so much chunk damage on his way out. The Ice Block's going to keep him alive. Here's the Crossfire. No damage to be found. Creatives has to dump out, but he gets the healing on himself, and he ends up staying alive. Phoenix is dashing in. Rhino finally sniffs out Creatives, but he trades out his life to Phoenix, who has a double so far in this fight, dancing around this wall here, trying to stay alive. It is a 4v4 here in this case, but the respawns from Natus Vincere are going to be just a little bit closer. Kanga, they need to back off, regroup, and maybe get a touch one more time.
Great kind of like adjustments to what's happening here in this fight. Backing off with just enough time to know they'll be able to regroup. They've given many different goes. They've used many different ultimates. In fact, I think they've gone around of every single ultimate, and they haven't been able to find out creatives. Last time, Evil Mojo and Moxie saved him, but this time he's going to go down thanks to Evil Eye. What can Evil Eye do? He's got to trade at least 2, and he does.
Somebody's got to kill Evil Eye. He's not even blinking around on this EV. He's just standing behind the payload, finding the kills right into the Pyre Strike from Mike. Is that going to be enough to kill him off, though? The Dread Serpent comes out from Kanga, trying to end this one right now. The respawns, as I said, are coming in for Natus Vincere. Finally, Evil Eye gets taken out, but the seismic crash from Joel's. That's good for one onto Mike. The self-healing Spunky answers back with a kill. Through time and space, drops one now from Kanga. Natus Vincere fighting tooth and nail, trying to keep this one alive, but Joel's instead comes back into this fight, finds himself a kill. Phoenix goes down. Now it's down to Lazy. I don't think he's long for this world. Gara, he's trying to supply some healing, but that's another good Pyre Strike from Mike. The Ice Storm comes in. Kanga win the fight. Oh my, Na'Vi almost with the defense, but Kanga, they win. Map number 2.
You know, I love it. I'm just going to cast with you and Kresnik for the rest of my career, and I won't have to say a damn word. I'll just pop off for about 5 minutes in a row. You guys killing it, and so are Kanga. Game 3 goes their way, but the big key for that one to break it down.
I took the jacket off. It's too hot.
I'm putting it back on. Don't worry. All right.
Tell me, what's the big thing to break down?
The big thing to break down around this, truly, is that Gara stayed alive that entire fight.
He did.
There was this sustain, and the front lines kept being a presence, and they kept throwing bodies that shouldn't have been there trying to hold down that payload objective. So it was a great call out for Gara. It was mismanaged from Na'Vi, but they probably did the best they could considering. It was just a lot of factors being thrown at them. What a fight.
Mike Watch enters game number 2, ends game number 2. Some good moments from him this time around, but Kanga find win number 2. Pretty hair, how you feeling?
I don't know, man. My emotions, they're just being pulled in a million different directions right now.
I was so happy for Mike. Did you see his smile after that cap?
He did. He was so happy.
Can you root against that, man?
He was so happy,
It was ear to ear. I could see pure joy.
It's the predictive Pyre Strike onto Evil Eye. I mean, Evil Eye's small brain could never hope to keep up with the likes of Mike in a matchup like this. It's just really, really one for the ages.
Yeah, absolutely.
He out-damages Spunky.
Yeah, out-damages Spunky. I was literally going to say the same thing. His Inflames drifting a little bit inward sometimes towards some danger, but I mean that last.
That's because Mike does not know fear.
He has.
Kresnik.
The man has never shook.
What does Mike fear in the world of men?
I'm actually amazed that everyone else on Na'Vi can be in the same room as him right now.
Oh man.
On a serious note, like the ultimates from Na'Vi, I think were what got them.
Just seeing his name on the scoreboard, it's just funny to me. I love it. I love it.
The ultimates from Na'Vi, Evil Mojo especially, is like a really, really strong ultimate. It's really hard to do with that. I thought their positioning and use of it was strong, but Kanga, in this last fight, they sustained more. The focus fire from Na'Vi really wasn't there the way it should have been, and I think that's what really ended up.
Your offensive potential with this comp, period, is minimal, man. We talked about if this one goes late, it's not going to be a good look. Na'Vi are looking to snowball this off the back of their sustain. Evil Mojos before Resilience and Cauterize can counter the squad. And, you know, it just hit that critical mass point. Evil Eye, this was a really great sequence from him. But again, that really... Evil Eye's a great player, but that highlights more of the lack of offensive potency from Na'Vi's comp.
Also a really good dive by Rhino, because both of those players ended up being really low, and that was because Rhino went in, they had to chicken him, they had to Evil Mojo him just to stop the pressure. It's like it shows the sync between Kanga. They're still taking this seriously, regardless of the circumstances.
Absolutely. Na'Vi are a great team. Mike is at the very least a talented FPS gamer. You can see that he's got the Counter-Strike tilt on his keyboard. And he's got the smile. He's got the attitude to succeed with Na'Vi. And again, the circumstances really sort of set the expectations for this Na'Vi squad going into this matchup. So I don't think anyone's getting upset. They're kind of just like, yeah, we're going to give it our best shot and kind of see how it goes. And I think at the end of the day, having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun watching this. I'm sure chat and everyone is just enjoying the story of Mike.
We like Mike.
At the end of the day, be like Mike, boys and girls, at home. Stone Keep, map number 3. What can we expect here? Drogoz was pretty important in the first set of the day, and I don't know if we'll be seeing much of it, at least from Na'Vi.
It's solid on this map, but just looking at these teams, I feel like we're going to see more like, in terms of blasters, we'll see like the BK Eevee, or maybe even just like the double backline. Yeah. Like a Tyra and a Cassie.
Creatives has never really played a ton of Drogoz anyway. It's really kind of
It's been Mewtwo. Oh, so can we expect to see Mike's Drogoz, do you think?
God, I hope not. Just for the sake of being a Kanga super fan, I can't wish that upon the boys.
You're right. Yeah, do you have a jersey on today? Are you hiding it in support of Mike?
I need a Mike jersey after today. I mean, I think those would be selling like hotcakes if Na'Vi threw them up on the old merch store.
You're not wrong.
4 off-tank bans again. I don't know. Is this... you think that might be putting, Na'Vi in a more interesting situation because they wouldn't be able to grab these supports that you almost say Kanga might be wanting to ban some of those, but with the first pick Eevee, I think this goes back to what you were kind of saying about, with no Mave player here, Eevee is really kind of the only thing left for Na'Vi.
It's the only strong flanker that's left. And also, I mean, Evoli has looked good on it last map. He's been looking good on it historically, so I think taking that away from them too, they know that, all right, if they have a flanker now, it's going to be a Mave or it's going to be like a BK. Like they know now more what they're getting into by picking it early, and it's a good pick for them.
It's gonna be Mave. Everything I do. What was the song that somebody tried to get you to sing the other time last time you were on cast?
I don't remember.
Was it Evan? Or was it?
See, my musical taste is all over the place.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know a lot of the classics.
Maybe that was Dave and Evan. I don't know.
I don't think
it was.
I don't
something
remember
to do
that.
with singing. It's probably Evan.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that. And it's tough to live up to his musical expectations. So if any of us fail at any given point, it's understandable at the end of the day. Draft so far shaping
had a pretty
up
similar
to be
style.
Style of draft.
Yeah, they've been taking 2 tanks pretty much first every single time, just so they can stay flexible with their DPS down the line. It's not a bad strategy. I think sometimes it can give away too many power picks, but I'm sure they're confident in it now. I mean, after seeing what Na'Vi have been trying to get the last 2 games, I don't think they're too concerned about strong DPS picks coming from Na'Vi.
And the moment of truth, what will Mike play? It looks like Bay.
God Furia.
Flex God Furia. Master Mike. Killer Mike. And Spunky.
Spunky knows
who. Everybody know who the true support is.
Who the people need.
Yes, sirree.
Still
smiling.
At least he looks like he's having a great time. Yeah.
Still fragging. Gotta love the kid. Gotta love the kid for stepping up here on the Furia for Na'Vi when they needed it most. Better this than a forfeit, I think. Kanga Esports lock in Bomb King, Cassie, Damba, Barrick, Ash. But did they account for Mike?
We'll have to find out.
God damn it, he looks so good playing that Furia.
I've never seen a man with such thick fire strikes before.
I mean, he's taken over the scene in a matter of minutes. Eevee, Inara, Genos, Furia, Sha Lin locked in for Na'Vi. This is game number 3 brewing. It's on Stone Keep. We'll see if they can bring this one back. Switching up the strategy doesn't seem likely at this point, but I will say there's a couple of differences coming into this one for Na'Vi. They have creatives on Eevee now. They have Phoenix on Sha Lin. They, Na'Vi take the Eevee, but it feels like Kanga take the Cassie in a sense from Phoenix, because while he has been known to play DPS, it's clear that it might be his most comfortable thoughts. So closing thoughts on these comps?
Yeah, I think the BK was probably something they expected. They're probably planning a mid around that. I think Na'Vi got what they wanted, but I'm sure Kanga's ready for this comp by now.
Well, can Mike lead him to victory in game number 3? Casters, bless us.
God bless you up there on the desert. There is a bit of a misplay from Kanga in my eyes.
Okay.
They let Furia through. How do you not ban out Furia?
Yeah, it seems like the best target ban you could ever ask for.
In Mike's tenured presence in this league, he's shown us time and time again that if you let him on the Furia, that's where he's most comfortable.
Yeah, stats don't lie.
That's
it's his best performing champion. It's its most consistently played champion. It's its most winning champion, and it's his most comfortable champion. I don't understand how you let that through.
Jokes aside, Mike stepping up to the plate here, finding some kills, finding some good ultimates. And you know, Navi, they're down 0-2, but they found some points in each of the games up to this point. They're not getting 4-0. They're not getting blown off the map, basically. So they're in the fight.
Yeah.
Most of these games. Evil Eye is going to start off from the high ground, rain some bombs down from up above here in this case. Phoenix now on the Shaolin, not on the Cassie anymore. Joel's about to catch a volley of arrows. Oh, the shield, though, blocks it off in this case. Early point presence goes the way of Natus Vincere. No kills coming through just as of yet.
They've got good control of this high ground keep right now. It's going to be up to them to really take down BK here. Gara's got everyone nice and healthy. And Rhino, he finds creatives just too much to try to tackle at once. Too many big bodies, too much damage here. Gara's going to really continue to be the main focal point. You know, one of the European veterans from so many teams in the past, and just has always kind of been there. Kanga was a chance for him to kind of combine with a few others. And players who had kind of been there, not quite as veteran as him, but also have not quite achieved the amount of success that they want and been very close to it. Evil Eye on the BK absolutely pertains to that. And he will find himself doing a great job here, though, in this round.
That is the 10-year champion of his as well. 93% now for Kanga, but Phoenix opens up this one with a kill on Necronix. Make it 2. The Shaolin, the creative Shaolin. Game number 1 was huge. Now it could be the Phoenix. King Bomb doesn't find that much value. Rhino with the shoulder bash in.
Well done.
Phoenix back to base. It is still a 2v1 though. Lazy now finding 2 on his own. Only 1 for Kanga still around. Natus Vincere. Lazy triple kill on the Inara. Kanga Esports, they're back in base trying to defend.
And sometimes it happens that way where you have your point tank or your off tank secure kills that your DPS can't quite get access to, especially when you're playing cross-map on something like Stone Keep. So it was very difficult for Evil Eye to get taken down most of the fight. Chronic stayed alive and out of trouble for most of the fight. And there isn't a lot of, there's no one who really can create that bridge except creative. So it was up to him. He has no kills in this game, so he just wasn't able to get the job done, but Lazy picks up the slack, finds all those 3 killing blows, and that's huge for his team.
It's really about how Creatives is able to create space on this Eevee, just as I say it, finding 1 onto Evil Eye, because the high ground presence goes all the way over to Kanga to start things off. Within an inch of his life, that's an aggressive play there from the Eevee. He's able to blink out, get some healing, get some of the Genospark healing as well. Just make life tough for these Kanga players that are just going to be riding this high ground straight out of base. So you got to really look at Creatives to throw a thorn in that mix.
Oh boy, oh boy,
nice
oh boy.
shot.
He's getting shut down, and I don't know whether Rhino's paying extra special attention to him, but he goes down at the start of an in-flame, and that just basically shuts off everything. Rhino missteps, maybe doesn't understand quite yet the damage Shaolin can output with 30% extra on top of what he already does, but he makes it out just fine, and there's a heat haze. They actually really want to push this. Phoenix has an opportunity, but he may have put himself in a corner.
Yeah, you get some damage in, but no kills just as of yet. The heat haze did set him up well. There's so many low members. That's a good stun nearly onto Joel's. Just goes wide. Only 1 kill right now. It is Joel's onto Phoenix. Still 45 seconds left, though. So looks like Natus Vincere going to back off, regroup, give it another go. Creative staying aggressive, and that's what you have to look for. The plug shots, just a little chunk damage that tilts the fight one way or the other. You know, if that Bomb King was just a little lower, if Joel's was just a little lower, Phoenix would still be alive in this case, so that's really what you look for. Unfortunately, Creatives, he flies too close to the sun, and Evil Eye finds kill number 1.
This is a great opportunity for Kanga Esports to really look at what they can do better. They've got Mike, and they're really not executing the way they would if they had their full squad, but they still want the point. What does that mean? How are they taking these fights? How are they prioritizing things? 90% damage reduction. So just really the counter we've seen work against so many different things, whether it's a King Bomb, whether it's a through time and space, shrugging off those ultimates that usually get value. But, you know, they got to find out, how do we maneuver around this tactically? It's not really just the play. I mean, we obviously have 5 players in the PPL. They have 4.
Uh-oh.
But it's, what do we do? Where do we go?
Oh, that was important from Chronix to be able to answer back. It's still a 4v3 going in here. Joel's needs to stay alive. Rhino needs to stay alive right now, dancing behind the payload. But Lazy's going to get up there, get aggressive. Here's Mike throwing some hills in that direction, so he's doing just that at least. Creatives throws out the Ice Storm, but the rest of Natus Vincere have to back off, and Kanga with a good defensive stand, tied up at 1.
Just deciding how they want to approach these fights, not being too passive and allowing Natus Vincere to win by default. It's tough, but Lazy is so good at standing on the point. But what makes him great is his ability to do things like this and clean up fights as well.
Yeah.
And it's not that, you know, listen, they were probably dead no matter what. But 99, you could still play. 100% of your health needs to be dead. It needs to be gone. And so if you don't have someone who's doing that, you're going to make a lot of different things, you know, opportunities happen for the enemy team that you don't want to happen.
And, you know, Mike, all things considered, 1, 1, and 4. So, you know, holding that slash line together. Right. I mean, at the end of the day,
impressive.
The fact that he can stay even in these situations is, you know, a win in and of itself. He has the Inflame. That could start things off well for Natus Vincere. Lazy making his way back to his favorite spot, fighting from the point here. A triple kill last time around. Jules is going to start off this little engagement with a dome shield, but the wall's going to block off a lot of it. Chronix, though, he's fighting from the high ground on this Cassie. Drops down to the low ground with 2 in his pocket. Kanga Esports, just a couple kills, just 1 ultimate's all they need. Now Natus Vincere have to fight back in, only with a seismic crash, only with an Inflame, to a Kanga lineup that has 4 ultimates strong.
Now this is an Inflame, and we'll see how much they try to... Oh my goodness gracious, beautiful stuff there. Rhino gets a stun on the Mike. He's as good as is dead, but Rhino actually forced to go back. Lazy gets taken out on the point yet again. Kanga have found the value here, and they are not giving it up at all.
And it looks like they're going to capture point number 2. They do just that. Evil Eye helps them along their way here, just throwing everything at the wall towards the end. They had the ultimate advantage. They're going to have 2 minutes to regain those ultimates as this payload starts to move forward here. Evil Eye back to a little bit of comfort here on the Bomb King.
Nice try.
A tough sort of game on Jaguar Falls. They ended up winning, of course, but it was a little bit contended. But definitely feeling his comfort here on this Bomb King up here on the high ground. Winning a lot of those little short bursty trades with creatives, definitely.
And that's the key. What is up with these individual battles between things like Chronix and things like creatives? How does that work? Phoenix and Chronix. How do these things kind of start to develop over the course of the game? A lot of that typically lends on your off tanks kind of creating space for them to duel out and really relieve some pressure, but because they're really only playing with 1 off tank on the side of Natus Vincere, 1 tank in general, it's different. Navi have to be a little bit sneakier, a little bit more tactical about how they approach this, and now they're on the defensive end. They don't have as much room to work with.
They do have a good comp, I think, from fighting down from the high ground in this case. Still 1 minute and 20 seconds left, though. The respawns could come through time and space. Doesn't find Rhino. The shoulder bash negates through time and space. Beautifully played by Rhino, but that doesn't stop Evil Eye. Evil Eye has no shoulder bash to save his life. Rhino up there on the high ground alone for Kanga. Natus Vincere find a little bit of space just out of 1 kill. Phoenix rolls back in the what's the word I'm looking for? Invisibility.
Yes.
You can't see him through that.
Yeah, nice little withdraw.
He withdraws out of it. Natus Vincere still 5 strong. They use through time and space. That's it. They have some charging ultimates up on the opposite side, though. Kanga are going to give this 1 more go with 45 seconds left.
Bit of a bait by Rhino, just able to kind of, again, for the 2nd time in 2 rounds, take a through time and space into a shoulder bash, which is a trade you'll take any time as the Ashe player. Joel's getting close. Garrett can't quite keep him alive. Mike adding some peppering of damage.
Look, I think this is where Mike wants to be.
Really
He's just
wants
able to
live.
sit back.
Boom.
Free fire. It's like target practice from up above. He's not really having to you know, position himself defensively, really.
Wow.
He's able to sit back, do the heals, throw out some pyre strikes, maybe get some stuns, add a little extra healing into the fight. I mean, jokes aside, I think this is a situation where Mike will feel probably the most comfortable right now with 1 second left, though. Kanga 5 ultimate strong, only through time and space is not available. Kanga Esports could find some kills and push this one in and make it 3. Natus Vincere could tie it up at 2. The Dread Serpent's going to start things off. Evil Eye plugging away. Up to the high ground goes Os. Rhino, though, he doesn't get the assert dominance off, and Creatives finds the kill. Phoenix adds another. Now with 3 members, Kanga are trying to climb this hill. It's not going to happen. Phoenix with 2, likely 3 once Joel's goes down. As I say it, Joel's answers back. Overtime just being extended. Joel's is the last line here for Kanga. Natus Vincere, they find point number 2.
And Joel's, you can see the difference having damage dealers contribute to these really solo point fights, these point tank fights. It's just tremendous because he's doing pretty well, actually, against Lazy as the Barrack. And he's almost winning that trade, but 1,000 damage off the top.
Oh my.
And then another 1,000 damage off the top. That'll change everything. Chronix here hits a really nice combo onto Phoenix. He gets an easy double kill. That sets everything up for Kanga Esports, and it's it's a good look for them. 6-3 after an 0-1 round start for the first point. This is where you want to be if you're Kanga Esports.
I mean, if you really look at the damage charts, it's so even, but then the drop off. I mean, I would never attack Mike willingly. This
Never.
But the damage difference from like a 50,000 damage Ashe to then 30,000 damage. That bullying in the front line really is making a big difference here in this case. It's not allowing Natus Vincere to ever really get comfortable on that point.
Yeah, and it's not that you're just losing out maybe on another 20 to 30,000 damage at this point. What you're really missing out on is kill confirmation and its space created.
Nice.
Mike here finds a big kill on the Rhino. What'll that lead to as the Inflame is activated for Natus Vincere?
Mike finds the mid-air kill onto Rhino. Phoenix is able to grab one as well. There's only 3 members left for Kanga. Phoenix starting to pop off a little bit on the Shaolin. Make it 3. The shots are good. Phoenix is good. And Natus Vincere with the quadra. Phoenix. He's doing it to him. They're on the point now, 2-2, and they could zone out for 3.
Top play. There it is. You already know. Natus Vincere not making this easy on Kanga Esports. Mike or no Mike, they are a threat. I'm still talking to 4 world champs here, so watch your manners.
That's right, Phoenix, that's the perfect target. It's a good Pyre Strike to stun up just a little bit onto Rhino, but the resilience is going to get him back and healthy. Evil Eye with the King Bomb rolling through. Kanga Esports could retake, and it looks like they're going to. Doesn't find any value, but that's okay. What it does is force just a little bit of pressure in onto the side of Na'Vi. Evil Eye with the Poppy Bomb up to the high ground, trying to get aggressive onto Creatives now, who's able to blink back in, misses that shot, but it's still 72 and climbing now for Kanga. Natus Vincere have to retake. The Heat Haze might do it here for Phoenix.
And this looks like it's trouble for Phoenix. He's getting healed up, though, by Mike and by Spunky. It's just not enough. Good stun there. Rhino actually loses his 90% damage reduction, and that's big. Spunky able to clean up Rhino as a result, and Creatives free-firing finds 2, Dave.
Joel somehow still alive here. He's probably going to be the last one to fall, though. Chronix free-firing from the high ground. He needs to tumble in. He needs to get the overtime. Evan, they're pushing for the win here, Natus Vincere. 3-2. Kanga, they need to hold this defense.
Honestly, it was a great round from Mike. We wanted to see those extended rounds, and we did. And he made some big plays, some big Pyre Strikes, some really clutch kills. And, you know, listen, I mean, if you play CS, you know how to aim.
That's right.
And it just doesn't necessarily mean you know when and who to prioritize. Right. So shout out to Mike, but also shout out to Natus Vincere. Those guys have entrusted him, saying, we're going to tell you what to do and where to shoot, and you're going to do it. And he's sticking to the plan, and they finish that Ashe off before she can land. It keeps all their momentum.
And, you know, like I said, pushing for the win here. Creatives catches a few bombs on the chin, playing this round much the same as he did last time. If he's able to kill off Gera, that'll be a sign that Natus Vincere are ready to go. 15 streak for Mike, 20 streak for Spunky. Natus Vincere playing very well, all things considered, down to the end here. Gets a little bit of healing, maybe looking for a stun. If he's able to get Chronix here, Phoenix could start things off very well, but Chronix gets back, gets a little bit of healing. But right now, things are stalled out just for a moment. Looking for a pick, either side are right now.
And one of the biggest things that Mike did was stunning with the Pyre Strike Rhino. Because he got him out of his 90% damage reduction. It used to be CC immunity, but no longer is. And the second he got stunned out of it, he was super susceptible. He couldn't now have that burst escape, and they were able to finish him off, and it was Mike himself who actually finished him off. So that is a really big trade for them. The triple support, could it be paying dividends here with the substitute, Mike?
Joel's for Phoenix. I don't know if that's a trade Natus Vincere will be happy with. Lazy needs to stay alive. 3 sources of healing considering his own as well coming in. Creative gets traded out. There's still a minute left in this game, though. They don't need to go right now. They only blow the seismic crash. The rest of the kills coming through, just a bit of icing on the cake. Still 40 seconds left. His payload is so close. Chronix has not been able to get comfortable on this high ground. He steps out, plugs a few shots in, but there's so much return damage almost immediately. Natus Vincere, they're fighting this uphill battle very, very well.
Truly doing a bit of a climb. And, but you know, all those good things in life, they come after those climbs, my friend. So it's nothing too great to get.
Ooh, there's the target. Oh, the Poppy Bomb. That saves the life. Oh, he gets blasted right off the map by Rhino. They could extend this fight, and he might be able to get back into it. It's not going to happen. It's a 3v5 right now. The defense certainly is going to stand strong unless they're able to get a touch. Lazy needs to get in here, get some healing. But I don't know if there's enough healing to go around, especially not now with Mike going down. Overtime starting to tick away. Creative's back into the fight, though. That's going to do it. Kills 1, 2, 3, 4 for Kanga. Good defense. We're going down to a .7.
And great damage from Evil Eye. Chronix also playing pretty lights out. You can tell he's locked in as far as aim. He's been somebody who's been talked about in the, especially European circles. We were talking to, Tenor the other day, and he was saying in Esports Weekly, he's the best Esports Weekly guest we've had from NIP, by the way. And he was talking about the fact that, Chronix has been, like, stepping his game up, and that is important. I think we've all noticed it across the league. Chronix has really started to lock in. We know he has that talent. He's played nearly every role in the game. And so his expertise, but then brought into that expertise, combining that with the decision-making and then just the raw skill, it makes for a very deadly, DPS character. Phoenix having his work cut out for him to keep up.
Got a checkerboard of damage top to bottom with Chronix taking up the mantle here. Phoenix has really sort of come into his own here. I mean, of course, the triple kill, the quadra kill is a big flashy play, but he's helped with the rest of this. The Inflame comes through. That's going to buy the initial fight here for Natus Vincere. Assert dominance from Rhino is just going to clear out a little bit of space as well, but Evil Eye on the Bomb King from the high ground has 2 here in this case. Kanga Esports, they win the initial point fight. The Inflame even coming through. Phoenix needs to answer back with just a little bit more damage if Natus Vincere are going to be able to retake this one. They're so far away, though. 72% for Kanga.
Oh, this is good.
This could be it.
King Bomb soon, and Flame is used like you mentioned. They only have a Heat Haze, Seismic Crash as well. Just don't go for the Anar right now, which is what Evil Eye might just do. He's got it at the ready, trying to find a kill. Going to the back line, smartest move as well. Ice Block, no.
Oh, the Ice Block baits it. He finds some bomb damage. Overtime in favor of Kanga here in this case, but Evil Eye is at about half health.
Bomb doesn't drop.
Creatives finds number 1. Rhino, and he gets stunned up. That just keeps him out of the battle just for a moment. Chronix up on the high ground, has to roll out, get himself out of danger. Lazy has to back off here. Overtime starting to go down. They need to get in there. They need to get a touch. Chronix stays alive somehow. Creative's trying to be a thorn in the side of Kanga right now, but Joel stays alive. Chronix cleans up Phoenix. Only 1 damage dealer left right now for Natus Vincere.
Dave, I don't know. Lazy stayed alive way too long. But luckily, Kanga have finally found the source code here. It looked like it was going to be Natus Vincere taking a game and making things interesting, but Kanga will find game 3, and it will be a 3-0. That was close, though.
Dang, that was close.
Now without a little scare.
The story here is that all things considered, Na'Vi are taking these games to the end. That was a 0.7. They nearly come out with the win in that case. Just the picks, not so much going in their favor towards the end there. But, I mean, hats off to Na'Vi. They're playing well given their current situation. Yeah,
I think Na'Vi are doing a great job. Obviously, they're creating a lot of opportunities for themselves to succeed. It's not easy, but it's a testament to these players incorporating somebody, might as well be off the street. No, any gamer anywhere, just come in and play in this PPL game for us.
Did you see that?
It's pretty incredible. I mean, to be able to see the dynamic that they're able to do for their team.
Yeah.
I think moving forward, this just bodes that, in my opinion, Na'Vi are still world caliber.
I think that's
players.
A good thing that you pointed out. Is at the end of the day, it's still 4 world champions that you're looking for on this squad. And Phoenix had a great game on this Shaolin. He played so well, and he's supplementing some of maybe the missing presence of Mutu and really rising to the occasion. Of course, Kanga, they're playing clean. They're playing like the Kanga we expected to come in today. I mean, it's hard. It's a very hypothetical question. Of course, Chronix 12-5, Evil Eye 12-9. It's very hypothetical. But you plug in Mutu for Mike, or Kanga getting wiped off the board with the way they're playing and the way the rest of Natus Vincere are playing?
The reason is because you just have not only your healing stepping up, but then you have your lineups, your draft really stepping up.
Right.
And then you also have a true damage threat.
Right.
And Phoenix is a great damage threat. He's a comparable PPL player, but he's not at the level of Mutu, which sometimes you just can't play around. He's so good. It's just what he does. And there's a reason he takes main DPS slot for this team. So it's just something that Na'Vi, again, hats off to him, because it's a little bit of a juggling act.
Right.
You can't let him do this, can't let him do this. You got to do a little bit of both. Draft's got to change, damage got to change, and healing's got to change. And they're making it work, man, against a good team. I'm giving credit to Kanga because they are a good team, and they're playing well. And they took NIP 4-3 last week.
You're right.
And so I think this is
absolutely
testament to both teams.
I agree. Testament to both teams. Let's send it back to the desk, get maps, picks and bans, all of that ready to go.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I liked what they said down there in the booth, Kresnika, specifically about plug in Mutu for Mike. Sure. Mm-hmm. What is happening in this set if Kanga are continuing to play as well as they're playing right now?
I think it would be a much more contested set. I think it would be probably like a 2-1
Yeah.
right now.
There's always this give and take, too, of we play bad, they played good. Which one is it really? And I think that's kind of on display there with that hypothetical a little bit, right? Like, right, if because Mutu's not there, Kanga maybe look like they're playing better. What's your, you know what I'm getting at?
No.
What's your take on that?
I think Kanga's decisions in fights are not bad at all. A lot of the time, like they had some really clean executes with multiple ultimates. I mean, this is not a team that is playing poorly and getting lucky because Mutu's not here. This is a team that is still executing their strategy.
Yeah.
This is a team that's still doing what they want to do. They're playing their drafts well, I think. I mean, and they're not up 3-0 for no reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a squad that has gotten a lot of respect, I think, around the league. Has really kind of shown up in a couple of weeks. Having to, get off the ground, these two international teams, Virtus Pro and Kanga, very, very slow starts originally, right? They put together that international roster. They sort of took that risk, and it's starting to pay off, I think. If you look at the way VP played today, they really gave NIP hell. Kanga Esports has been admittedly a little slower getting off the runway, but at the end of the day have still looked good in moments. Ascension Peak, Navi are getting better and better every time here. I don't know. This might be time for Mike to strike.
Could this one be a 4-4?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
A dead tie, the first draw in the history of Paladins.
Let's see. All right, default bans. I think Navi needs to get away from this. They need to get rid of this single tank strategy, I think, because they could still play 2 tanks, 2 supports, and a DPS.
I just want to see one game of Navi playing with Mike on support and Spunky playing help. Could you put Spunky on point tank and let Phoenix DPS?
You could, I mean, we would be Spunky off tank. Does he have that?
You're right. Off tank. In that area, I really think Spunky could backline DPS, man. I don't know. That's just where I've casted Spunky as DPS in the past, so maybe I'm just a partial old man to what I've seen.
I mean, I remember hearing that his Mave was monstrous.
His Mave is good. His Shaolin was there. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me being Paladin's grandpa here at this moment. But
we'll see what's coming now. We have 2 tanks. We have 2 tanks now. We're looking at Navi.
Yeah.
This is, Navi did the same thing 3 times in a row. Now they're actually pulling out a more, I mean, some would say legitimate. I just don't think solo tank is that good in this meta. But they're pulling out a draft that looks more like Navi.
Certainly, Kanga have drafted themselves Khan and Eevee so far. Both of these picks looking strong. Khan and Ash sort of swapping out taking away the Fury too, swapping out their spots in the bans versus the draft. Why do you think Navi are going for this like double point Barrack and Nara thing?
I think Barrack off tank is just really good. I think it's just kind of underrated. Still I think it's still really good. Yeah, it's not so much. I was calling it double main tank earlier on the cast, but it really is just more putting Barrack in those lanes. It's just that when you have this composition, you play more poke oriented. Like you're not going to really get like a crazy dive flanker kind of thing. You'll pair your strong backline with the Barrack, and if you have a flanker, they'll just be on their own lane alone, but not looking to commit.
Yeah.
That kind of style.
Well, Furia Tyra, a lot of damage. Amp potentially drafted here if the stars align for Kanga Esports. These games have not been blowouts by any means. That either speaks to one of 2 things: how insane Mike is, or how good the core 4 left for Navi are. And I am leaning towards Mike 100%.
I don't think you're wrong about that. I mean, Mike has been like we were talking about him before, but like
for a level 20
player.
God bless him, man.
Yeah, he's been performing.
Actual nutter butter. Dude.
He had the one moment that I know Nip mentioned to us in the green room was as soon as the Inara got booped off cart, he 180 flicked and dashed to the cart. That's not something that he could been microed for.
Leads me to battle.
That was his game sense,
right.
his level 20 game sense, saying like I need to get in and touch this point. It didn't reach, but like just the thought of it shows that he has a deeper understanding of the game than you'd expect.
Can you imagine Mike and his level 20 casual games after a week of boot camping with Navi and playing against Kanga in the PPL?
He would just see deft hands, and there would be a bot in the game for the rest of the time.
He just obliterates the poor bastards at level 20. Khan, Eevee, Furia, Tyra, what will they lock for their final selections? Perhaps another front line?
Could be Nando. I don't know if they would go triple DPS.
Does anyone love Nando right now?
I think he's underrated still. I mean, you cannot argue with the value of that ultimate. This would, oh, you know what?
They're doing it for F dot.
Yep, that's exactly why.
He's fully corrupted the Kanga draft at this point. He's probably screaming wherever. If he's watching right now, this has absolutely made
He just stood
his
above
day.
his couch at home like, hey!
Oh,
we're running the gambit now.
You know, well, he at least got that. He got the nod. F dot. Receiving the Grok nod, damage Grok nod, no less in the draft here, but playing with a couple of picks.
Have you met my friend?
They're going to lock in the SSG special here, not picking one, picking both Tyra and Vivian.
And this is just so much overwhelming damage. I mean, Tyra and Vivian versus double point tank. Now they're like, now Navi's thinking, oh, we have to go in and get on those targets, but they have Cassie Shaw in our barrack. That's a pretty stagnant composition. I mean, Cassie has her like little dodge roll, but that's not gonna do what they need to do against that kind of comp.
Not gonna close the gap. There's so much shred, tons and tons of damage drafted for Na'Vi. This is it. They have to do or die. Game 4 is about ready to go, guys. Let's get this one down to the casters and see if Mike can take it.
The clock is about to strike midnight on the story. That is Na'Vi Mike filling in today, and he's...
That's what I was going to say.
What's that?
Oh, you missed it. It's for the highly intellectual aware of punnage, you know? Blake got it. It's fine.
Oh, mid-Mike. Clock's about to strike mid-Mike. I can't even say it, mid-Mike here. But they do have, I mean, if you really want to analyze it, they have, so Kanga have the Furia this time around. I think she fits just fine into their composition.
Talk to me, Dave.
And Na'Vi,
Dave.
They have a more traditional composition this time
sure
around.
do.
And there's only one healer on this team.
Wow.
So do you put Mike on the Inara and keep Spunky on the Damba this time around? We'll see right now.
I think you just give it a try.
Tell me his title was a mistake. Unreal, dude.
Yeah.
Unreal.
That's funny. Mike was a mistake. I love it.
But they do give him the
I think
Inara.
this was the other most, like, it makes sense, right? Inara, stand on point. It's hard to mess that up. But you really do just try to keep things simple, and you lean on Spunky as the healer, and that helps for other people, not just Mike, right? The healing helps for other people, not just Mike.
I mean, you know, Inara, she has a floor. She also has, you know, a ceiling where a guy like Lazy can play her, you know, through the roof. But being able to stand there, do some damage, get the healing in, I think this is one of Navi's best shots at actually finding a win here today. Good composition on their side. Facing off against triple DPS, though, if these Kanga players are able to sit back and free fire, Natus Vincere is going to have a tough time staying into this one. Creatives catches the Rhino shots, trying to dive in, unable to do so. 1-0 early on for Kanga.
Good stuff from Mike here, min-maxing. I think he goes into a nice earthen guard there to stay alive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure.
Oh, no.
Eventually he falls. At this point, I like this idea, this attempt. They tried to go for the wonky draft, putting Spunky and keeping, you know, 4 members on pretty decent rolls, and then having one roll that's just completely off, and it being the point tank, which is, you know, it's in the name. You're a point tank. You be on the point.
Right.
I like it. I just think the Kanga they're already off to the races. It's a little too far gone for them to give something up like this. It's 96% counting. They'll take .1, and this is probably going to be the last game of the set.
We'll have to see how they fare on the defensive end for Na'Vi, of course. Maybe a little bit different of a play style for Mike on the Inara this time around. But honestly, what it really was is, you know, you talk about Mike on the point tank and all that, but they weren't able to get to any of the free-firing damage dealers from Kanga this time around. Vivian was sitting in the back line firing away. I don't think I ever heard her stop shooting. You know, Evil Eye bought some space. Phoenix now with the kill. Rhino on the Tyrant's going low. He's going to tumble around the corner. Creatives is going to add one into this one as well. Maybe another one onto Joel's. This defense starts off with a successful little trade there from Natus Vincere.
I think so. And I think if you can continue to have stuff like this, you know, we'll see. But Kanga Esports now just kind of biding their time. Inflame now in the hands of Guerra. He saw the way Mike used it. He's going to be picking up some tips that he found there and trying to
play like a pro.
Incorporate that into his own gameplay. Maybe Mike will do a meme play like a pro for us for Fury. It's a great idea.
Could happen. Could happen. Needs to worry about the game at hand first, though. Of course, about 1 minute 20 seconds left on the clock. There is the Inflame, but right into the ice block goes
Dangerous
Evil
ice block.
Eye. Right down goes Phoenix, though, so the Inflame does buy 1 kill. Chronix, of course, on this Vivian this time around. That massive 70-round clip has been buying him so much time this game around. Mike, the last man standing, is going to catch one too many bullets, buying a little bit of time for his team to respawn. His payload's moving far forward. I think they know where Spunky is around the corner here. He might actually get cleaned up. Very out of position. Now without a healer, this payload's rounding maybe the final corner.
It's so incredible, though, to see how Inara survived that long, being shot that consistently by Vivian and other people. And it's really just an Inara thing, which is, you know, something they could have really tried to play off of in the beginning. They didn't choose that direction. Right. I don't blame them. It's kind of an unsolvable equation here.
30 seconds.
No,
Try to do your best.
I agree. And they are. I mean, I think Kanga are probably just going to want to seal this one up as fast as possible. The Sentinels from Chronix are going to allow him to chunk out a lot of damage. Creative says, no, you don't. Woo. Not on my Lazy. He pops up around the corner, does a little bit of burst damage to Chronix. 10 seconds left, and Natus Vincere actually looking okay to maybe find a defense here. Depends if they're able to get any more picks before Chronix comes back. Too much chunk damage in. Oh, but Creatives, he does it again. He calls out one of the Kanga Esports players who's getting just a little bit too aggressive. This time at D-Blind. Here's the seismic crash from Mike. That finds Jols, who's down to about half health now. Rhino just playing around the corner here, gets a good bit of healing. Garrett just staying back, trying to add as much healing into this fight as he can, but Joel finds the death right now. Mike holding down this payload the best that he can, adding some damage. Lazy finds kill number 2. It looks like this is going to be successful defense for Natus Vincere.
Well done, man.
Well played across the board.
Yeah, good defense. I think it's a good use of the seismic crash.
Agreed.
I think if you go down there, yeah, it's a push, so you save yourself a point potentially. A nice little wall.
1 ultimate for 1 point, easy, and they have 4 going into this point fight.
Easy value. I like it. And, you know, you're not out of the woods yet. Kanga have started, however, as these games have gone on, Dave, they start to pick up their pace.
Yep.
And towards round 2, round 3 specifically, they really do kind of pick apart what's happening, find the weak spots, and go ahead and deal with them.
And Phoenix hasn't had, you know, that Stone Keep game he had on the Shaolin was just absurd, and I think that's part of the reason they were able to stay in that one as long as they did. He's not playing poorly by any means here on Ascension Peak, but without having that same pop-off performance that he had, things seemingly a little bit more in Kanga's favor. But you know, at the end of the day, it is tied up 1-1 here. They do have ultimates. The scout comes through. There's the Dread Serpent buying some space onto the side of Kanga, and naturally Natus Vincere the ones aggressing here. The Inflame comes out as a bit of an answer. Phoenix cannot poke his head around this corner. Too much damage comes in as a return, but now there's the crossfire from Rhino. But again, he can't poke his head around the corner. So many of these ultimates getting mitigated. Spunky catches the overpower, so now there's no more healing for Natus Vincere.
And honestly, the ability to see the Dome Shield find a lot of value is great, but they still don't have enough in the tank. They're off 0 to 60, just like the rest of them, but once you try to head up into the hundreds and go beyond that, they lose some punch, they lose some horsepower, and they just can't keep up with the big dogs around the track. Kanga Esports doing a good job of zoning, not getting too aggressive on it as well. And here is the Vivian Sentinels coming out to really put on their...
Could be all she wrote here. Natus Vincere had plenty of time to get in and get a touch, but unfortunately for Lazy, Evil Eye blinks in. There is a bit of an answer back. Lazy for Rhino. I'm not sure who comes out on top of that one, but Evil Eye is going to make the picture a lot clearer with his second in this fight now on the Eevee. Trying to blink in, gets Creatives. Mike, the last one standing here for Natus Vincere after Spunky goes down, and Kanga Esports are going to find point number 2.
Yeah. Kanga Esports. Very, very happy about the ability to wrap this one up. I think their worst fear is something happens in this set that they're not hoping for. And whether it's even losing a map, whether it's obviously like, please God, losing the set, they would not want that.
No, I think at the end of the day, at least how things have played out right now, I mean, in a way, it's almost a win-win for both teams because Natus Vincere they've been in all of these games. None of these games have been like absolute blowouts. I mean, they've at least found a couple points in each of them as the Inflame comes through. Just a little bit of icing on the cake in this case. So many kills were already on the board.
Yeah.
But Natus Vincere, they haven't been blown out of the water. I mean, we you know, this big Mike, we talk about it, but he's played okay today. It's not like he's been horrendous. And Kanga, they find, of course, the potential 4-0 win here. So I think both teams, honestly, come out with a win. One is real, one's a little bit moral, but at the end of the day, a win nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly. Both things to be proud of in victories across the board. 1:25 here. Nice fire strike. Will not stun Mike. He's going to juke to the right, sidestep to the left. Good shots from Phoenix to hold it down. Kanga trying to push through. Last time, just narrowly escaped Phoenix back to the base after the pressure from Evil Eye, but Evil Eye picks him up. Creative's in the same trade, kills him yet again. Almost a mirror replay of what happened before.
Mike using that wall well, but there's just too much damage returned in onto him. Kanga fighting at a 4v3. The respawns for Natus Vincere are going to start coming through. Still a minute left, though. There's the Dread Serpent from Spunky. Sends a couple running. Joel's, though, he comes back out of it into the fight, but he gets cleaned up as well. Spunky and Lazy both with one. Evil Eye dancing around the corner here. Could buy himself a little bit of an angle into Natus Vincere, but with 45 seconds left, back off, regroup. With only one member really in position to get onto it. So another good defensive stand from Natus Vincere. Only the Dread Serpent gets used. No Inflame for Kanga, no Crossfire for Kanga. Overpower could turn the tides and add point number 3 here. Just how many ultimates do you want to use to really try to confirm this? There's a Scout. Early chunk damage in onto Evil Eye. Phoenix needs to start coming alive here from the high ground, though.
17 seconds. Good shot there. Phoenix getting poked out, but Creatives is always ready, either on the follow-up or on the blink forward. Evil Eye has had a hard time breaking this chokehold as well between the Bow brothers, standing up and again another shot. Half the health of Evie is just so hard. They hit so hard.
And Phoenix from this high ground has not really been challenged up to this point. He's been hitting in his shots onto Evil Eye. Gets aggressive down, gets so aggressive, catches so many shots from Rhino. He ends up staying alive just long enough for Spunky to trade out. Overtime's going to tick away. Evil Eye not in a position to get a touch, so another defense from Natus Vincere tied up at 2-2 yet again. Seismic Crash from Mike gets used there. Sentinels used on the side of Kanga, so we have a slightly skewed ultimate advantage going the way of Kanga going into maybe this final point fight if they're able to push this one in. Kanga, I think, would like to just seal things up, get it done nice and clean, capture the point, push it through. But Natus Vincere, they're playing tough today. They're not letting them off easy.
Nah, man. And pedal to the metal, and they're gonna go down with the ship if the ship is sinking. And they are absolutely doing their best. Commendable effort. And it is one that will be remembered for a long time to come here in the PPL. Kanga Esports with cauterized 3s across their 2 main DPS. And I believe Chronix has it as well, but wouldn't blame him for prioritizing a little wrecker here and there.
There's the overpower. Oh no, Mike! How are you gonna do Mike like that? Gets caught off by the overpower. Off the map he goes, takes a little bit of a journey. Joel sends him on his way. Actually finds a double kill in this fight, so well played from him. 2 from Joel, 2 from Rhino. Make it 3, a triple and a double is all Kanga need to win this point fight. They used everything except for the Ice Storm. Natus Vincere only have the Heat Haze as an answer here. They got a big fight going their way. 39% on the point, though, mitigating some of what Kanga brought. Dread Serpent, Heat Haze, Natus Vincere still with a chance to fight back, though.
And great fundamentals. So they're most likely going to get back onto this point where, in the same exact situation, if you ever see NIP win a point that hard, the other team's not getting back, dude. They're not touching the point again. Na'Vi somehow have enough respect. They're going to be let back onto this objective, even with an Inara walking there. Big kills by Lazy, but Phoenix also trading out pretty heavily, and he's going to help Divine Guerra. He will. Lazy with another double. Are they going to win this objective?
They're going to get the point. Phoenix, how did he stay alive throughout all of that? He needs to finish this kill on a Chronix, but Chronix turns it around. It's all down to Joel's trying to stay alive here. If he can buy enough time, Kanga may be able to come back. But they're fighting a losing battle with a numbers advantage on the side of Natus Vincere. Natus Vincere, Evan, pushing for the win.
What am I watching here?
You're watching Natus Vincere. You're watching the age of Mike.
You're watching Natus Vincere.
And I mean, I don't want to overanalyze, but you look at the overpower. Overpower immediately goes on to Mike. Is that too much of an overextension? Is it better spent on
someone else?
Someone else even, you know? I don't want to overanalyze, but you have to look at things like that. Evil Eye is going to stall things out. But well fought from Natus Vincere. I think you said it very well. Despite getting clean swept, they fought back and got themselves the point.
And also, in many ways, not to be harsh, but it's not a zone you would see from NIP. And we saw it even today against Virtus Pro, a team that arguably has been playing better than any of the teams here right now. And at least even couldn't get back off of some NIP once they had won that first match. Just, you know, taking that zone into your own hands, playing with confidence. Kanga didn't have it. That could have been the closeout round, the closeout push, and now they're going to spend an extra minute and a half here dealing with Na'Vi. And they're going to hope that Na'Vi doesn't get something going and try to end this game and actually force them to do another one.
That was just a really big solo performance, honestly, from Phoenix. I mean, the rest of the team doing their jobs, helping supplement a little bit, but Phoenix being able to stay alive there despite losing the trade with Chronix at the end. Really helped Natus Vincere come out on top of that one. The defense looking stalwart here from Kanga, all 5 members on streaks.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like Natus Vincere are going to be able to break this one down. So now the time of ultimate charging and no ultimate using is upon us. They're going to want to have everything ready to go going into the final one. Mike just getting staggered out here, is padding his damage stats a little bit. Unfortunately, his death column adds 1 more as well.
Well, it's all here for us to indulge in. The Mike showcase, Kanga most likely taking a 4-0, but you never know in Paladins. Things can be a little tricky and a little funny when it comes down to it at the end of the day. 20 seconds left on this push that has gone pretty much nowhere with an aggressive zone.
Gotta give him credit. That's about 20% of the way off the point there, Evan.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dave, you're right. I was just distracted by the fact that it's moving backwards.
It is indeed. The arrow is in the wrong direction here if you're Natus Vincere.
My bad, man.
Likely not going through. It's a 4v5. Looks like we're going to go down to another 0.7. The last one on Stone Keep went the way of Kanga. Sentinels, that's a tricky ultimate to track because they probably will be up for Chronix. They charge while they're being used. 5 strong for Natus Vincere. Call it 5 strong for Kanga as well. And honestly, it's the usage of the overpower in my eyes.
Yeah.
Where that goes could dictate the way this fight ends up coming down to it. Natus Vincere, we can't harp on it up. I mean, like I said, there it is onto Mike, which is a good use. I mean, getting rid of the Inara is important. But in this case, still open things up. They won the team fight cleanly on the back end of it, so I can't harsh too much on that overpower.
It's hard because then what you'd have to be saying is they should have saved the overpower for the second fight. Because the first fight went perfect, they won.
No, you're right.
Then what happens is the zone. They need to just zone better.
Right.
Because the second fight, they let them back in. And Lazy gets knocked off his mount, he just walks in.
Right.
He walks in as an Inara. And they don't have an Eevee. They have a Shaolin and a Cassie, and a Maldaba and a Barrack. They don't have someone like that's going to just blink in no matter what. You can't stop them.
All right, so this time it goes on to Phoenix, which is, I think, infinitely a better target here. Joel's getting called out around the corner. Evil Eye with the double on the Eevee, but they're fighting from the point. The door is still open for Natus Vincere to maybe retake this one. Strong individual kills from the side of Kanga.
Yeah.
Are going to end with Mike going down. But 6%, that's all they get from that fight, 54%. If Natus Vincere are able to fight back through the Ice Storm, through the Crossfire, they're only 46% away from taking this one. The clock's about to strike midnight, though, on the Cinderella story.
Whose job is it? What, he's just backing off. I don't understand whose job it is to stop them. They're going to walk back in on this point. No one's even going to die. I don't understand. They just backed off and said, okay, let's have another even fight. It's given Na'Vi a chance. I don't know if they'll take it, but it's given them a chance here.
And the Ice Storm, I think, tilts things heavily back in Kanga's favor, especially with it going on to Lazy. Mike doing his job, in all honesty, dancing around behind this statue, keeping the point from going one way or the other. Needs to stay alive, though. Rhino onto Phoenix. They have no more damage in this fight right now. The Crossfire is going to come through onto Mike. Oh, the Seismic Crash would have been good. Unable to get it off. But it looks like midnight's about to strike. It looks like Mike's onion carriage is about to turn back into a pumpkin. And Kanga Esports, they're going to take the win. They're going to take the 4-0. But hats off to Natus Vincere. They fought back well on the day.
Yeah.
Kanga Esports, I mean, they won 4-0, but a little shaky there down the home stretch.
Little shaky. Every team's got to work on certain aspects, and the zone is certainly one for Kanga. But it's really hard to look at this as a serious matchup because no one can be at their full mettle when you have the realization that you're not going against that full caliber Na'Vi team. It just, I know for Kanga, it doesn't feel like they truly beat them, and it's the same way.
Right.
You know, you would think if in a sports situation where, you know, your best player goes out and you're like, well, okay, they're totally different without that player. Now, you know, we win. I like that, but it's not quite the same thing as proving who was better. For sure, and we'll maybe see that. Mutu's supposed to be coming in over the next few hours. We'll see if he can make it in for tomorrow's game. That's going to be sideline reporting from us. We'll let you know.
Right. We'll keep you
Stay tuned to Paladins ESPN.
That's right. Well, the day does end 4-0 from Kanga. Na'Vi fall. Let's send it back to the desk and wrap the day.
Well, it is what it is at the end of the day. I think overall it was very entertaining. These guys taking the loss and the win in good spirits, and I think are still very good friends at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think either team can be – I don't think Na'Vi especially could be surprised with how it went. I think the fact that they put up rounds is probably pretty good feeling for them.
Yeah, definitely.
With basically a brand new player.
4-3, what was it, 4-2, 4-2 or something like that? Like, they put up –
Yeah.
They did not get 4-0'd in a single map, which
or even 4-1'd.
Can't even say that for some of these full-strength PPL teams at the end of the day. So Mike, certainly not completely dead weight when it's all said and done. 63,000 damage on the Inara. Top objective time, putting Lazy out of a job in a matter of hours.
Have you ever
Spunky out of a job in a matter of hours?
Such a prodigy.
He is certainly going to bring something special back to his level 20 casual games. Mike, congratulations to him. That was a fun thing to watch. I think he gave it his all. I think he did a great job. But at the end of the day, of course, it is Kanga Esports standing tall 4-0. We can talk about this, what this might do for their standings implications. This is a great win for them to grab. 4 maps as well. It's going to improve the map score a decent bit. This is, you hate to see it happen to Na'Vi, but Kanga did what they had to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kanga, of course, I'm happy that they played to their fullest. I think they had some interesting drafts at the end here. It was kind of a neat, hyper damage. Good way to counter, I think, the Inara Barrack kind of tank starving that Na'Vi tried to do. And looking at it, I think they might have a really good shot at taking 5th seed in the standings now.
Yeah,
above VP.
I agree. This is something we talked about coming into today. They were locked in for 6th place. That is the cutoff for MSI. 6th and up, they're going. But standings are far from locked in. There's a lot that can change in this next day and the next week wrapping up the PPL. Kanga is not super far out of the running for the 5th place. There's a lot at the top that can change for you guys as well. A lot is performance driven at the end of the day. Take a quick peek here at the standings. As you can see, Kanga and VP separated by a single map.
Wow, we got 2nd. Okay.
Easy for Kresnik.
That happened. Weren't we 4th at the standings at the start of the day?
You should be the biggest fan of Mike right now.
I didn't even have to. I'm a huge fan of Mike now. Actually, Mike's a very nice guy. I spoke to him before our last game against them.
Sure
He's actually super nice. But we did not play anything, and we got up 2 spots.
I think it's just a reorganizing of you have a less.
I think it was because
which
we
is
had
what
one
I
less loss.
think. That's what I think at the end of the day. That's what standings. That's the way I feel it should be. You know what I mean? You've played less games, obviously. I always try to give the caveat with standings graphics with the PPL, it ebbs and flows. You have teams that take weeks off, things like that. You guys played a power week of 4 games last week, so things kind of happen in that right. Virtus Pro versus Na'Vi. A Na'Vi that is alleged to be at full strength tomorrow.
Yes.
Mutu is supposed to be landing tonight and is right now planning to be available for tomorrow's games. Kanga Esports versus Ninjas in Pajamas. The flip-flop from today, actually. Kanga puts up a good show, but we don't know exactly what they're going to look like against a full-strength NIP. Virtus Pro certainly exposed maybe some chinks in the armor there. All in all, I have to say, very, very fun day. Very, very great first set. That was an absolute war, and that 4-0 from Kanga was, if nothing else, very entertaining. Let's throw it down to a little post-game interview with the boys.
Guys, congrats, first of all, the 4-0 coming through. Against Na'Vi, granted not a full-strength Na'Vi. I mean, just to kind of open it up, what's the takeaway on a win like that? You do get the win, it is 4-0, but it's not a full-strength Na'Vi.
I mean, Mike played his heart out, he did his best, he's like a sub for Na'Vi, so we have to take it as a win, but they played still great. Like, props Na'Vi.
Were there any, I mean, despite coming away with the 4-0 win, were there any maybe lows that you guys identified today that you need to work on moving to tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. Just positioning was really big, Me personally, I got picked a bunch of times, so gotta work on that.
Well, let's look on to tomorrow. So you guys play Na'Vi today. Now you have NIP coming up tomorrow. NIP having a longer set to start off the day here. What are you looking forward to playing against NIP tomorrow?
Play smart as we did today. Make sure we're all on the same page all the time, and make sure people are all understand the same page as well, so they're not getting picked off randomly.
Sure. The meta's been kind of interesting. NIP, looking at them specifically, have been kind of in and out. They haven't been here for the last couple of weeks. Would you say the meta's kind of, I wouldn't say stagnated, but less strange, crazy picks coming through?
I think the meta is slowly changing, obviously, as every meta does, but I feel like it's still the same. You know, you got your OP tanks and everything.
Well, looking forward to MSI. You guys, at least one game left to go tomorrow. Excuse me. Are you just fighting for better seeding at this point?
I don't think seeding matters that much at the point anymore. Like, every team is super close to each other. Like, you see maybe NIP at the top right now, but you see they almost got beaten by VP in last week as well. So that every team has their weaknesses. I don't think seeding matters that much to MSI.
Well, congrats to you guys coming out with a 4-0 win today. Get some rest. Got a big day against NIP tomorrow. To everyone at home, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, later.
Paladins Premier League, brought to you by Skillshot, High Res, Evil Mojo, INAP, Steel Series, and Respawn.